Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family, we chose this one. This is episode 90, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode is brought to you by Mazda, a heightened state of driving. Have you ever thought about the way your car makes you feel? Does it make you feel anything at all? Or is it just a piece of sheet metal, simply a way to get from A to B? We believe cars should stir the emotions. Mazda.
Thank you, Mazda. So appropriate for so many reasons for this episode, which we will get into as the episode goes on. But first, Joe, I guess we should do another one of our disclaimers that we recorded the back half before this, which always winds up coming up way more often than we ever anticipate whenever we do that. So, just in case, we talked about that already, but extracurricular activities, what have you done since Sunday when we did our diagnostics?
Well, I'm going to start out with today, because I have a fun story that I want to tell you about today, and then we could talk all about the big thing that we all did.
Yes, yeah.
I was telling you the story, I was going to type it to you, and then I was like, well, we're recording in an hour, so I'll just wait. I woke up this morning, and I was like, okay, getting ready to go to work, come downstairs, go outside, go to get in my car, and there's a cat that's, like, in front of the driver's side tire of the car. And, you know, we have a lot of stray cats in our neighborhood. They're all really sweet and whatever, so, like, I'm totally fine with it. So, like, I start walking towards the car. Usually they bolt, right? I get closer to the car, and the cat, like, kind of, like, wobbles and, like, goes to, like, flip over and misses.
Okay.
And looks like it's kind of flailing. And I was like, that's weird. So I thought maybe I just, like, spooked the cat or something. But, like, I look at him, and he's, like, very, like, wobbly, like, so I look and it looks like maybe he's not moving his back legs.
Okay.
And so he's like sitting there, so I'm like, oh, this sucks. So I like go in, I'm like, Rachel, look at this cat, like, come take a look at this cat with me and see what you think. So she comes out, we like look at the cat, we're like, there's something wrong with it, right? Like, it's either sick, right. It looks kind of flat too, so we're like, oh, maybe this poor cat got run over, we don't know. But it's like it's, you know, in my driveway, you've been here, so it's like in my yard, right? And I'm like, I don't know how it even got here, right? I go and I call my animal control. Nobody answers. So I find the phone number for, like, the non-emergency police department, which I was just thinking about this, and this is, like, the first time I've ever called the police in Connecticut. I've lived here for 6 years. This is the first time I've ever had to use that option. I call the police department. I'm like, hey, there's this cat that's, like, under my car. I think it might be sick or injured. And she's like, well, you should have called animal control. I was like, well, I did call animal control, and they didn't answer, so now I'm calling you to make sure I got the right number and stuff. And she's like, okay. And so she's like, let me call animal control, have them call you right back. Animal control guy calls me. He's like, I'll be there in a minute. He shows up, and he's like, you know, can you, like, you know, make sure the cat doesn't move or whatever? And I look, and it doesn't move the whole time that he drives to my house. So, like, 10, 15 minutes, the cat's kind of just, like, laying in the same place. So he comes over, and, like, rounds up the cat, puts it in a carrier, and I'm like, you know, what do you think? And he's like, the cat's, like, eyes look, like, a little messed up and stuff, and his ear looks really red. I think he has such a bad ear infection that his balance is thrown off. So he looks like he just has this, like, really, really bad ear infection, so I'm gonna take him to the vet, and he'll be good. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
It could have been, like, way worse. So
sure.
That was the beginning of my day. Hopefully we saved this little guy. So he happened to be laying in a good spot for me to spot him and get him to the vet. That was my morning. I was like, okay. So I had to wait for them to come get him from in front of the car. Because then I didn't want to move the car. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want him to scurry or anything or start the car and run him over. So I was like, yeah. So I just waited for him, and then that's what I did this morning.
I'm trying to think of times that I've called the police or called animal control. I remember one time in the last year, since I started walking every day, there was just, like, a dog just running around. Yeah. And I was like, that's not supposed to happen. So I call animal control. They're like, can you get a hold of the dog? I was like, if I could get a hold of the dog, I wouldn't be calling you. Like, what do you... She's like, we can't send anybody out unless you have the dog on a leash. And I was just like...
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
So eventually, this other guy in a car pulls up next to the dog, and he gets out, and he sees that I'm trying to, like...
Wrangle.
I'm not trying to get to the dog, but I got my eye on the dog. And he and I sort of, like, follow the dog to a house, and it's just, like, this old couple, like, this, like, couple in their 80s. And the guy's just like, oh, here you are. The other guy was just like... You know, like, oh, is this your dog? Oh, no, sorry. There was, like, a 4-year-old kid out front, and the dog goes up to the kid, and the guy's like, is this your dog? And the kid, like, doesn't really respond, and then the 80-year-old guy comes out, and then the guy's like, is this your dog? He's like, yeah, you know, he gets out every once in a while. We're like, well, maybe do a better job of, like, keeping, because, like, he was running, like, 2 blocks down that, like, he was not really close. He was far away. And then, okay, and like I just left. The guy's like, "Do you want to ride back?" I was like, "No, I'm on a walk. I'm fine." But I was just like, "This is such a weird like, oh yeah, he just does this." Just like, yeah, fix it. Like, stop it. Just stop what you're doing. I feel like I've called the cops about like traffic stuff. I remember one time when my friend and I were coming back from like a concert or something in the city. I was driving and he was in the passenger seat, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and there was this like semi. Like a ShopRite truck or whatever, like drifting like from lane to lane, not Tokyo drifting, but just like swaying, weaving like across all lanes of the highway. Like I don't know if the guy was high or asleep or
tired,
what, but
yeah.
like
He's a trucker.
my friend called. I don't think he called 911. I think he called just like local whatever, like state police. They were like, what's the like, where's he going? I was like, I don't know. He turned on 78. Like, we're just, we didn't follow it or whatever. But like, I called in some regard like that. I was like, it's not an emergency, but like, there's something like crazy going on or whatever. But yeah, it's weird. It's rare to, I guess, call the cops. But
it was a strange feeling.
You get a little bit of a charge out of it, I think.
I don't. I was like,
you don't?
No, I'm like,
hate the cops.
I hate the cops. Like, this is like, but I'm like, look, I even called animal control first. I didn't want to talk to you fuckers. I know you don't want to talk to me. We're good. Send animal control here, because those are the people that need to take care of this fucking cat. I hate calling the cops, and I hate talking to cops for the same reason of exactly what happened today. I'm like, hey, there's this cat, it's sick, and she's like, you should have called animal control. Well, I fucking did call animal control, you dumbass. Like, why are you treating me like such an asshole? If you would have just, like, let me finish my thing, like, I was literally about to say, like, and I already called animal control, and, like, I don't know if the number's right or not. Can you help me find the number?
Right. Yeah.
Fuck that. Anyways, that was my fun save a cat story this morning. I felt pretty good about it, and cool. I hope this little guy's okay.
Anything else that you've done aside from the thing that we did together?
A couple days ago was Cinco de Mayo, and so Rachel came out of retirement for one night and one night only. As you know, Rachel worked at a tequila bar for a long time, so she spent Cinco de Mayo making homemade margaritas at our house.
Ooh.
Oh, fucking delightful. They were so good. We made margaritas, we made quesadillas, and on top of that, we watched the show. You say the name of it, because I don't know the name of it. The two guys.
Middleditch and Schwartz.
So we watched this. Did you watch it yet or no?
No, not yet.
It's a long-form improv show.
Look at you using lingo.
I mean, they say it at the beginning of the episode. So.
I figured as much.
Yeah. So what they do is they improv the whole show, which is like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't remember. They don't interview, but they like talk to the crowd, right? They're like, hey, like, what is something that's coming up that's either very exciting or very scary? And they like, hear a bunch of people shout at them, and then they like pick one. They're like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then they like find the person. They're like, who are your friends? Who's involved? When is it? Where is it at? How'd you meet these people? Whatever, right? And they just like gather information, and they're like, okay, now the show starts. It was fucking hilarious. We were laughing so hard. Rachel was like in tears watching the show. Like, and my cheeks hurt. We were just like laughing. I think there's only 3 episodes on Netflix.
Yep.
It's great. I highly recommend it. If you want something fun to watch like that, if you like John Ralphio from Parks and Rec, if you like, what's his name?
From Silicon Valley, Richard Hendricks.
Yeah, Richard Hendricks from Silicon Valley. If you like both of them, actually Richard Hendricks is a lot funnier than he is in Silicon Valley. Because he plays like a quiet kind of.
Yep.
So it was hilarious. Highly recommend it. I can't wait for you to watch it. I think that you'd really like it. It's generally like really wholesome. Like they swear and stuff, but the content is wholesome. It's not like some weird dark comedy or something. So.
I mean, they're both regulars on Comedy Bang Bang. They were both on a Comedy Bang Bang from a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Ben was on Never Not Funny, I think, last Thursday, and they're talking about how they shot it and all this different stuff. When Thomas Middleditch is on Comedy Bang Bang, he gets to like the darkest places in a hurry. Like he gets real weird and real strange and just all over the place.
You mean darkest places, not like dark, like he gets to weird places, right?
Well, both. I mean, weird and dark. But yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to it. I just haven't gotten a chance to watch it. There's so much to watch. I know that I'm going to love it. I'm kind of looking to not savor it, but sort of just wait for the time is right. But yeah, that's on my list. Also, like I feel like if I wasn't kind of actively watching Rick and Morty, I would be into that right now.
Yeah.
But there's only so much time in the day. I'm editing like 400 podcasts a week. It's there's things I got to do. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's very exciting. I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah, if anybody else watches it or watched it, let us know what you think about it, because I think it was really funny.
Anything else that you did since Sunday?
No, I'm waiting for you. What did you do? And then we can combine.
I don't think that I've done anything really.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think. I've just been watching stuff and reading and whatever. But
cool.
Yeah, on Sunday we had our family watch party number 2. We had a great turnout.
Holy shit.
First of all, you figured out how to do sound, and then you troubleshooted how to do sound, so it turned out really, really well.
Did it do? I think it worked good, right?
Yep.
Everybody seemed to really enjoy it.
Aside from some very minor video hiccups toward the end,
Yeah.
which we have ways to sort of troubleshoot, I think, for next time, it went very, very smoothly. Great turnout. Just about everybody who like routinely writes in showed up, which was
Yes.
awesome. We all got the voice chat.
Yep.
I mean, Jake joined from Australia, which was
He
cool.
did,
We got
that's right.
Wells, we got Wes, we got Jenny, we got Jordan and Kara and Mike and Brian back from past episodes.
Yep.
Alex Ellen was there. So we had Alex, Brian, Kara, Jake, Jason, Jenny, Justin, Jordan, Jerry, Mike, Wells, and Wes, and Mrs. Wes as well.
Mrs. West, yeah, she showed up too.
It was great. It was awesome. It was so much fun.
We say this all the time. We got some feedback from some of the listeners that were involved, and it's really cool that everybody that writes in, everybody that was guests, they're all people that I enjoy, that I want to hang out with, right? Our mission of making a small, too fast, too forever family really worked.
Yeah.
They're all great people, man. I have nothing bad to say about any of these people, and you guys made my Sunday so awesome. I can't wait to do it again. The turnout was great. Everything was fun. The conversation was always a blast, and you guys are all hilarious and crack me up in your own ways, so thank you.
Yeah, kind of left it open then that we might do another one soon-ish. I don't know if we'll do one this lap again, but for sure, if we don't do another one this lap, we will probably do the first movie sometime, for the next lap. So not too far off, because the next lap starts in July.
Yeah.
So in the next couple of months, we're going to do another one, which is very exciting. But yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you all for showing up.
Yeah, thank you guys, seriously.
Great to hear from all of you. I think it was awesome.
I think it was awesome too. And if you didn't join this one, join the next one. I think it was just a blast. I can't say enough good things about it and everybody that joined. So thank you guys again.
Sure. We have a Patreon on the show, and we have some updates, which we'll get to, so no spoilers here. But shout out to Cassie Wilson, Jake Freer, Ben Milliman, Nick Burris, Alex Ellenin, Justin Kleinman, Brian Rodriguez of High School Slumber Party, and Haley Gervais. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you guys.
For supporting us on Patreon. If you want to go to Patreon, it's toofast2forever.com. Join at the $10 tier. Buy one, get one free. We get the 2 movie choices.
Yes.
For the price of 1. Swag and merchandise. Early access to episodes. The intro to every episode goes up the day after a new release. There's always more to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
You get voting on stuff. You get access to the Fast and Furious Minute document. You get access to the quiz. Anything you want. It's all there. We have an email address here on the show, family@cageclub.me. And Joe, we have, drum roll please, as I count them up, if I keep clicking on the wrong thing, 9 emails.
Jeez, 9.
So first up, I don't know who this is. New $5 patron, meet West Hampton? I don't know who. Do you know I don't know the name.
If they could write in and let us know who it is, family@cageclub.me.
Very cool. Well, shout out to whoever it is, Wes. Thank you for joining our Patreon, our Gallo 12. I don't know who you are, Wes, but cool. Thank you. Say hello sometime. Write in, family@cageclub.me.
Yeah, thank you,
Joe,
brother.
this is one, but in reality, thank you, Wes, so much.
Yeah.
He's already given so much to the show in terms of all the write-ups and all of the
being
emails
awesome.
he sent in.
Yeah. Thank you, Wes.
Also, I will say, teaser for the end of this episode, but when we do the character quiz at the end of this episode and we get our guest Dan's character and we read the description, he's like, that was spooky. He's just like, that was so close. We're like, yeah, we put a lot of time in here. The write-up is really good. Wes did a great job with the write-up.
Yep.
This next email is one that we got during the family watch party, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then I finally got to read the full email the next day, and I loved it. So this one, first-time emailer from Emma Franklin.
What? Okay, cool. And during the watch party. Well, I'm sorry you couldn't come to the watch party, Emma.
So she writes,
join the next one.
Hello, I found you guys during my finals week and listened during study breaks. Now, I've graduated and work in a medical laboratory, specifically in the COVID section. So look at you, twins, medical twins.
Okay, cool.
She says, we test samples for the virus, and in my specific position, I have minimal contact with the virus, but I still want to thank you for bringing some levity to my day.
Awesome. We can high-five each other. We can elbow bump each other with gloves on and masks, because that's where I was all afternoon. So, yeah, I feel you.
She says, without this podcast and others like it, my work days would be filled with stress, so thank you for the welcome distraction.
Well, thank you, Emma, for writing in.
On a more lighthearted note, over Thanksgiving, I watched Hobbs and Shaw with my nephew, who had never seen any of the other movies. He spent the movie convinced that Hobbs had feelings for both Shaw siblings. He was also convinced that Brixton was Shaw's ex. I've accepted his thoughts as canon, as have the rest of the family.
Yeah, well, that's a really cool viewpoint. I want to know how old your nephew is. That's actually really interesting.
I mean, Hobbs clearly has relationship with Hattie because he kisses, at the end, right?
Yeah.
I do feel like there's that sexual tension between him and Shaw that we like so much. I also like Shaw and Brixton being exes. That's
I know, right?
They hint that they know each other, but that's a deep, yeah, man, oh man.
Hey, man. Yeah. No, never mind. I was gonna make a really terrible joke and just gonna ignore that.
Keeping yourself in check. Then Emma sends in her rankings. She does not include Hobbs and Shaw, but she's got the 8 original movies.
Okay. Let's get Emma's rankings. Okay.
I feel like this is the wrong episode to be reading her email because last on the list, Tokyo Drift.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you're glad you didn't join the family watch party then.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's why she stayed away.
Maybe it would have been better if it would have been higher in your rankings if you'd have watched it with us.
Number 7, Too Fast, Too Furious, which is actually 3 people in a row, including tonight's guest. Spoiler. Too Fast at 7. So 7 feels like a right kind of spot for,
apparently,
that 2, 4, and 8 are the consensus still bottom 3, right?
Yeah.
Number 6 on Emma's list, Furious 7. Which is one of the most polarizing. People either love it or they're not. They're indifferent. It can go anywhere.
It depends, yeah. It's the emotional chord it strikes with you.
Number 5, Fast and Furious, the reboot, number 4.
Yeah, seems about right.
Number 4, she says, Fate of the Furious, and only this high, she writes, because of the Shaw baby plane scene, which again might be the greatest scene in any of these movies.
Yeah, it's top tier. I agree.
Chipmunks, just him going, all right.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
Where's that smile? There it is.
Number 3, so we got the top 3, which is kind of the consensus top 3 also. We have 1, 5, and 6, right?
Yeah.
So those are the ones that everybody loves.
What's the order? Give me the order.
You and I love. Number 3, the original, the OG, Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Number 2, Fast and Furious 6. Number 1, of course,
Fast 5.
Everyone, it's on its redemption tour once again. Fast 5, her number 1 movie. Almost everyone's number 1 movie. It's almost recovered from Hector's devastating blow of an 8 to drop it down below a 2 again. But, man, oh man. And then Emma writes, I don't know how often I'll end up writing in, but I want to let you guys know that the podcast is often the highlight of my day. Emma.
Well, thank you for listening, Emma. And we appreciate
thank you for writing in.
You don't have to write in a ton. Just check in, say hi. How are you doing?
Oh, God, I completely forgot that this next email is this next email. Okay, this next email is kind of a visual... It's got a visual component, Joe.
Oh, my God. Is it what I think it is? Please, God, tell me it's what I think it is.
It has to do with the family watch party.
Oh, yes, please, God. Please send it to me. I've been waiting for it.
Email from Wells Lamont.
Yes, God. Oh, God. Okay, so Wells was in the family watch party with us. And we get to this scene with, like, the camera spinning around Sean and DK. And Wells goes, yeah, I've drawn that once. And we're like, what? He goes, well, it's shitty. I'm not a really good drawer, but, like, I've drawn that once.
So we're going to end the email with that because they're at the bottom of the email, but we're going to build up to it.
I want to see it.
He gives a little bit of explanation, yeah.
Okay, good. I want to see it so bad.
It's funny how no one cares about Vince dying at all. People cared more about Jesse and the guy who disappeared after the first one. I forget his name right now. Wow. Old coyotes are us. Leon.
Leon, yeah.
Has a movie ever had a scene where a TV in the background is...
Go ahead.
Has a movie ever had a scene where a TV in the background is playing a later scene from the movie?
Oh, God.
I know Tarantino plays his own movies in his movies, but I'm talking about if there was a TV in the beginning of 2F2F and on it was the Ejecto Cedo Cuz scene playing. I promise you both and all your loyal listeners, if I ever get the chance to direct a movie, I will do this.
That's incredible. Like, the TV is the crux of the movie. It's the whole thing. It like, talk about foreshadowing. It's like, it's teleshadowing. It's just right there. Oh, I like it.
Meta reference. Okay. Film. No, that's not exactly it. They're just talking about the Truman Show, how the Truman Show is artificially constructing a TV show within a movie. And, like, it knows it's a TV show, but doesn't know it's a movie.
Yeah.
I feel like movies, like comedies, have probably done, like, an earlier thing. I don't know that I can think of any that they've had a later.
I was thinking maybe, like, a horror movie, like The Ring or something, right? Because you're, like, watching the movie of The Ring, and then it happens.
The other thing that's popping into my head in something that I've railed about, and Mike is mostly on my side, but not as vehemently opposed to it as I am, is when, especially like horror movies or any other movie, like an action movie, starts in the middle of like the climactic scene, and then it's like 3 days earlier. It's like, No, don't spoil the end of the movie. Like, just start the movie. Like, trust that we will get there.
Yeah.
But, like, the movie Don't Breathe, which is a horror movie, starts at the end.
Yeah.
Like, Mission Impossible 3 starts at the end. It's just like, stop doing that. So it's similar, but this is a level of meta reference that I absolutely love.
I do, too. I want to see it. Wells, if you start crowdsourcing your movie, I'll gladly contribute to it. So, because I want to see this. I hope that you make something that Tommy Wiseau would be proud of, and just, that's what I want to see.
Did you hear that Tommy Wiseau had to pay $700,000 this week to a documentary film crew that he, like, obstructed a release? They tried to release a documentary about The Room, and he basically somehow held it up. The court ordered him to pay $700,000 to these filmmakers.
No, well, he has it. It's just in his bank account. It's endless.
Yeah. Wells says, I just got high. It's 1:56 a.m. I'm watching Drain the Bermuda Triangle. Also, by the way, this email I received at 3:25 Pacific time. So it took him an hour
Sunday
and a half. Yes, Sunday night into Monday. So this is after
the watch party.
Yes, after the watch party. He says it's a series of docks, and this one is the Bermuda Triangle. And each episode they drain a large body of water or section of the ocean to show you what's there. It's all done by computers and sonar. Disney Plus. It's great stuff.
I have Disney Plus, and I actually saw that on there, but I didn't watch it. So I'll check it out.
Sounds cool.
It sounds cool. Yeah. They, like, sonar the bottom of the water, and then they're like, this is what it would look like if it was like land. Sounds cool to me.
When Vince's wife walks into her home at the end of Fast Five and sees the money on the table, she used a key for the door, but there was no doorknob.
Wait, what?
I guess so. At the end of 5, when they leave the money,
so it's like such a
Nico,
ghetto that they just have a lock but no doorknob.
How do you open the door? I mean, I guess how you open the door from the outside, but like
no, you just push it. You know what I mean? Like because
I guess
it's like the deadbolt, and you just push through it.
That's observation. I mean, I don't know. We'll get to that minute in the Fast and Furious minute in literally hundreds of episodes, but
yeah.
Nice spot.
I never noticed it.
Here's my drawings.
Oh, God,
I started in 3rd grade, drawing at about a 3rd grade level. I have moved up to a 5th grade level, and here's my proof. Sean's hairline is all wrong, but it's not my fault. I have 0 perspective. So, okay, he sends in a picture of Suki.
Send it.
In 2F.
Just send it. Stop blue balling me.
Of Hobbs and Shaw. No, I'm just trying to get for the listener. Hobbs and Shaw. Okay. And then he sends in
but I
DK
can't
Sean.
see it yet. God damn it.
I
Just
know.
send it.
There's so many. Hold on. Here's the first one. Actually, I'm going to send you the first. So I'm going to build up. So here's the 2 reference photos.
Please.
This is on a cup, I think, or a popcorn
it's from
thing
Hobbs
from
and Shaw.
AMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the poster. It's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So here is Hobbs.
I love
Here's
it.
Shaw.
Oh, God, I love it so much.
So he writes, The Fast and Furious presents Hobbs. Another poster, and Shaw. And
it's
there's
awesome.
Hobbs on the bicycle, and there's Shaw in his car.
Oh, God, it's so good.
And he signed it 8/8/19. I love the like my favorite one about the Hobbs is the tattoos are just like green scribbles.
Yeah, it's great. It's so perfect. It's like very modern art.
Well, it's very Picasso-y. Like the
That's
Shaw
what I mean.
car especially is just like it's like a Picasso or like a Dali, like the dripping clocks. Like things are just like not where they're supposed to be.
No. It's hyper exaggeration to entertain the viewer. I get it. There's intention behind this.
I love on the clock that all the numbers are there. I love that the license plate is accurate. But boy, oh boy, it is. This is some wild stuff.
It's definitely. Oh God, please, Wells, let us post these on our.
I just emailed the message when you share these on Twitter. So here's the Suki one.
Oh
Suki,
yeah.
2F and says smack that ass, and it's Suki in the middle of her car, actually more like in the middle of the windshield. And there's a person on the side of her car, and there's the snakes all over the place, and she's like zooming down the highway.
Snakes all over the place.
Snakes all over the place. The one that he teased, and there's 2 on here. There's Ejecto
He has 2F in this one. Well, I mean, I guess he's talking about the movie, not
Too Fast.
Sean and DK look like they're about to kiss in this picture.
That DK is pretty good.
The DK is pretty good. He actually looks like he could be a character out of anime. He looks really cool. Sean looks good. He looks like doofy like himself. The peering into each other looking like they're about to kiss is oh.
And then we got Roman doing Ejecto Cuz, but it looks like he's got like Hobbs's body. He looks either has like a tiny head, which he does.
This is so George Condo, man. This is like very contemporary art George Condo. I like it.
Ejecto Cuz. Signed 8/30, maybe 19, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a 1 there.
I love these.
These are incredible. These make me so happy. Thank you, Wells, for sending them in. I'm glad that I know that I harassed you to see them, and they were very much worth it. it. Thank you so much. I like that he introduced some sexual tension into Tokyo Drift here. Maybe their racing was flirting. You know what I mean? Like throughout the rest of Fast and the Furious movies, whenever they're like racing, it's always kind of flirtatious, right?
I don't know. Is it?
The sexual energy that's incorporated with driving. You know, Brian's driving Mia. Dom and Brian are driving and racing.
But I feel like it's not. I feel like it's usually when they're in the same car, it's more flirty. It's the stare and drive. I feel like car versus car. I guess Dom and Letty. That's a good example.
Yeah.
I think it's hit or miss. I think sometimes it's flirty. There was a comedian. Oh, I think it's. Is it Greg Behrendt? One of my favorites. He's telling a story about how he was on a plane next to a guy who vomited into an air sickness bag, but did it with one hand without stopping reading his book. And he's just like, this guy was like the Michael Jordan of vomiting into an air sickness bag on an airplane. Everybody has that one thing, right? Where you're at a bar and there's a girl that's way out of your league and you're like, I don't have a chance, but if she just sees me shoot pool, right? Like if she just sees that one thing that I'm really good at. But this guy, his one thing is the air sickness bag, and like he can't use that to his advantage.
No.
And I feel like in these movies, to a certain extent, everybody's thing is driving, and so like in Tokyo Drift, when Han does the drift around the girls, like it's him flexing for them, right? So to that end, I guess it is flirty, but I don't know that it's always flirty. I think it can be, but it's not always.
I think there's mostly sexual tension behind all the racing in Fast and the Furious.
I think that's a gross exaggeration.
Monica, if you win, you get me, you get her too.
But again, that it can be. The rest of that is not. Like just Dom racing against Brian is not. They're just racing for pinks or whatever.
Brian
like,
and Dom racing is the most sexual tension.
But not then. Not that first scene.
Okay.
I think it can be. I think it's a very good point that it can be. I think to say all of it is a bridge too far.
Okay, fair.
Next email from Justin Kleinman, subject line, Hobbs and Shaw. Well, I'm watching Hobbs and Shaw again with my friends for our weekly COVID watch party. I know I said, actually this is...
Justin wrote in and he said, did you help him set up his Hobbs and Shaw Discord?
Yes.
Okay,
I sent him the same thing that that Chris sent us, that we helped do the thing.
Yes.
And he was like... My wife is not going to be happy when I make her understand this for me. And I was like, look, I just made Joe do it, so I get it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
He says, I know I said in a previous email that I wouldn't watch it again. Well, I'd like to say for the record that at 1 hour and 12 minutes in, I like it even less than when I saw it in the theater.
Ugh.
This movie isn't fun. I can't wait for next week when we get back to movie 1.
Oh, man.
Tough.
That's rough, man. Come on, it's okay. That's fair. I mean, like, you don't have to like everything. I get it. But I thought Hobbs and Shaw was fun. Because I like Hobbs and Shaw. I like The Rock.
Again, that, like 7, we've talked about this before. Hobbs and Shaw and 7 are the two most polar, I guess, and Tokyo Drift. But, like, Tokyo Drift, I think people either don't understand or they love. It's more like they see it as either inessential or they love it. I feel like Hobbs and Shaw and 7 are like, people get them both. It's just like, oh, I don't like that for some reason. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm not a huge fan of 7, so I can relate to you guys.
Next 2 emails, both from Ben Milliman. First one, subject line, food all over the place.
Oh, God, Ben. You're speaking, is there plantain? Is there little red
candles? He
candles?
said, when I heard food all over the place, I was grossed out because I pictured food all over the floor and then thought of decorations, like food pictures and weird decorative food items.
Yeah, like those like plastic grapes that you would hang or something, like something really tacky.
I asked Lenny what she thought when she heard that, and she said a big buffet.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's the most common, like, not weird thing.
Yes.
Like I still don't know what it means. my thing is, I think it's still like just food hanging from like meats hanging like sort of butcher shop style, right?
Yeah, like an Italian deli.
Yes, yeah. That's what I'm picturing, but when we get there, we'll get there soon. Cha-cha-cha.
The whole point of the question, though, is that it's vague, and you can see that people hear it, and if you hear it, you have, like, 2 completely different thoughts, right? It's either, like, a really dirty restaurant, or, like, a buffet, or, like, tacky food decorations.
Yeah, like, most of it is not good.
Yeah, none of it's good.
I mean, buffet's not necessarily bad. It's not inherently bad. It's just maybe not great.
Yeah, it's like...
He says, also, oil came up the other day because Linny has a tiny burn from the dinner we made. Oh, no. She was frying latkes when I made turkey breakfast sausage patties and a hollandaise sauce.
Nice.
Well, she was talking about the burn.
Up a storm. Jeez.
And he sends a picture, too, so I'll send that shortly. Well, she was talking about the burn and dinner at her mom's because the dinner turned out amazing, and she said oil with a southern-type accent. So I asked, is that 1 or 2 syllables? And she said right then it was only 1. We chuckled, and no one got it. LOL.
You're permeating the culture, brother.
I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
it too.
And he says, this is the dinner we had made. It's latkes, turkey sausage patties, sauteed tomatoes, spinach, shallots, garlic, with a poached egg and hollandaise sauce.
Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see
It's a
that
beautiful
food.
looking dish.
Let me see that food. Oh yeah, this
Look
looks
at that!
good.
Look at that smear of the sauce.
Delightful. This
Oh,
looks
it's great.
good. Rachel makes Luckies sometimes. I really enjoy them too. They're like one of my favorite breakfast type foods, and they hold up
Do you eat
well.
them with applesauce?
You know what I actually like to do, which is kind of a little gross, is like I like to do applesauce and sour cream.
Ooh, I think it's one or the other, isn't it? Usually.
Should be, but I kind of like both. So, but like, yeah, try both. It's fucking good.
I'm not into sour cream. I don't do like the white condiments. I don't do mayo. I don't do sour cream. It's just there's something goopy gloppy about it that I don't love.
I get it. I'm not a huge mayonnaise fan. I like it as a base for other sauces. I never put it on any. Actually, you know what? To be honest, I don't like a lot of condiments in general. Like straight condiments, right? Like ketchup, mayo, any of these things. I'm not a huge fan of. I do love ranch dressing though. Latkes, applesauce. Mwah. And this looks delightful, Ben. This is a very
great.
good dinner.
Then Ben also emails in about something that Wes just messaged us on Facebook, Sung's Garage. I'm not sure if this has been talked about on here yet or not, but I just found out that Sung Kang has a podcast called Sung's Garage. I found it on
Interesting.
YouTube and Spotify. I'm not sure what else is on. Also, I guess he's in a show called Power. I've never
Yes.
seen it, but I'm going to check it out. I figured if you run out of things for his lap, these are some options. Think about it. Have a good one.
Oh, that was a good hint, actually. We have been kind of racking our brain about things for a Sung Kang lap, right?
I feel like there's not enough. Like I mentioned very briefly in the watch party that I watched a short film on YouTube called Code 8, which is actually a really good science fiction short where like people are sort of genetically, like I think we evolved to a point where like people are genetically enhanced.
Okay.
Things sort of break bad in a way, but Sung Kang plays a cop. And then they made it into a feature-length movie, and apparently it's not as good because it's just like a great idea, but I guess it didn't extend as well as like the short film does it.
Yeah.
But I was trying to figure out if there's enough for a Sung Kang lap. I don't know if we're going to do an entire lap of him, or if we're going to do sort of like a Tokyo Drift themed lap where we have just Japanese movies and Sung Kang movies,
Oh,
and then
very true.
You know, Lucas Black or Bow Wow or whoever, right? Like there's a lot of different things that we could do there.
We could.
But yeah, I think that these are definitely good options. TV shows are hard. I think TV shows are hard to do, like especially like if he's a season. I think you know what I mean. Like that's a lot to
Yeah.
do for an episode.
It is true, but I know the show Power that like a lot of people watched it and really, really liked it. Like my friends that were, do you know who fucking loves it? Is like Twitter.
Power is essentially Black Nashville. Like people love Nashville. Like it's just the country. It's the record industry from like a specific either
Yeah.
rap music or country music, right? Like it's the same
Exactly.
as one or the other. So
Yeah.
Our next email is a reply to a previous email that he had sent that we mentioned from Alex Ellenin. It says,
up,
"Man, I
Alex?
just realized autocorrect fucked me. Ed Bolian is his name, not Bologna." Remember, he was the one who was talking about the Cannonball Run. He said Ed Bologna, talked about it on VinWiki. It's actually Ed Bolian.
Okay, cool. Thanks for
But he says he just wants to reiterate the suggestions here and apologize again for anyone who watched Cannonball from 1976, because that movie was real fucking bad. We don't appreciate
This is
enough
funny.
how much better the average movie is now compared to 50 years ago.
My dad was telling me he actually really liked the David Carradine, the Carradine Brothers one. Like he was like, "Oh, that one's really good too. Like you should do that one." When I was like telling him about these movies, so for Alex saying that like that one is a big piece of shit, I trust
Yeah, he kind
you.
of came into the family watch party and like apologized. He's like, if anybody watched the wrong one, I'm sorry. I'm just glad that we covered the right one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it kind of made sense, right? Like Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
My dad also said that like the other one was much harder to find. He was like, "I bet you can't find it," and I was like, "Well, father, the internet exists, so yes, I could find it." And he's like, "Damn, really?" Like, yeah. He tries to command Google to us hypothetical shit that is not online. He also doesn't realize that there's like a whole swath of things that are very easily findable now that the internet exists. So
Yeah.
everything's out there.
And also, in terms of what Alex says here at the end about not appreciating how much better the average movie is now compared to 50 years ago, I mean, like, I was talking about this for a while. I had been prioritizing new releases because I want to sort of keep up with modern movies and whatever, but, like, I'm starting to cut in older movies that I'm probably going to like more or just,
Yeah.
like, do whatever. So I'm watching some, like, cheerleader movies for Brian's month this month and whatever, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
there's just a different feeling in between this lap and those movies. Like, there's a different feeling to movies from 40, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Like, they just look different. They feel different. Their stories are different. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're better. They're just different. In almost every way, to Alex's point, the average movie today is better than the average movie from 50 years ago. I'm not saying that it's, like, more enjoyable, but, like, the way it's shot, the way it's acted, the way the story is told, everything is
Budgets,
just like, we're just better. Yeah, we're just better now.
Just actors in general, or like take their craft more seriously. Like, you know, it's just like the evolution of things, right? Like they just get better as shit goes on. So
yeah,
even like extras and stuff. Like you have like extras that care. So
yeah, if you get a bad movie from like 45 years ago, it's unwatchable. Now it's just like it's still like Fantasy Island. I hate it, but I'm like, it looks great. It's just terrible. You know what I mean? Like it's
there
just,
you go. Yeah, it's a great
there's always
point.
something. There's never nothing. There's always something. Then we get an email. New $10 patron. Meet Christian Larson. I don't know who these people are. I don't get it. I don't get it. But thank you, Larson, for doing this.
Shout out to patron Brian Rodriguez, because I feel like he really inspired this windfall that just happened.
I didn't want to say that because I don't want him to think he's entitled to like a finder's fee. I mean, he kind of is, but like it could be a lot. It could be a lot.
His huge sales pitch in the middle of his episode really seemed to work.
I think it was the sales pitch of also him backing it up, right? Like that's what sold it.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian, and thanks, Christian too. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and thanks, Wes, again. Thank you all to the Gallo 12.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Last email from today, from just a mere 5 hours ago, from Jerry Robinson. What's up, guys?
What's up, Jerry? Oh, I saw after I had like closed out the video stream, because when I was like watching, I didn't have the chat open, and I saw that you were in the chat, and I saw that you got the Athletic subscription. Thumbs up. Good, glad you enjoyed it. He like commented in the chat like, "Oh, I got the Athletic subscription. I'm loving it." And I didn't reply because I wasn't reading the chat, and you didn't say it out loud or something. So
I responded though in the chat though to him, and I also said goodbye when he said goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey guys, hope all is well with you. Joe to Kinder's pronunciation. The rubs are really good. The lemon cracked pepper is my personal favorite." He says, "I love barbecue sauces in general, including homemade."
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
One day I would love to try one of your sauces.
We can make it happen in the summertime, for sure.
Especially at 1327, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Hope you guys had a good Cinco de Mayo.
I did.
With barbecue chicken and Corona.
We drank margaritas and made chicken quesadillas, but it was really good. I didn't have any Coronas. I had margaritas instead, but yes, thank you.
He says, "Today I went into 7-Eleven to get some snacks for my work day and found this." He says a picture, so I'm going to put this in here now.
We got a lot of pictures today. I like it.
A lot of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
It is a Nas. It's a green. It's a Sonic Sour.
Sonic Sour. Mental focus. Enhanced mental focus.
"Found this and immediately thought of you guys, so of course I had to buy it. Thanks for the invite to the Tokyo Drift event, even though I had to leave early. 90-day fiancé FaceTime date with my version of Letty, a.k.a. my girlfriend. Gotta cut it short this time since I'm on the clock, but be fast, be furious, and be safe."
Was he watching 90 Day Fiancé on Sunday?
I think, maybe, possibly.
Oh, God, so he's watching 90 Day the other way. God, it's getting really good. We're getting to the end there. Jerry, if you're watching 90 Day the other way, thumbs up, brother. I'm a huge fan. I watch it Monday night, because it's also like 2 hours. They're like 2 hour long episode. I was thinking about you when I was thinking about, like, when I was, like, peeing in the middle of this episode, and you were like, how many episodes of, like, whatever did you watch? And I was like, I don't know, like, 6 seasons, and then, like, I was realizing that these 90 Day the Other Way episodes are, like, 2 hours each, so I'm
oh, boy.
I know. It's so good. It's such perfect brain mush. Like, on Monday when I come home from work, it's like my first day back at work. I'm usually all strung out on Sunday because, like, I know I have to go back to work into this shitstorm. And then, like, I come home and I'm like, but Monday night, I got 2 hours of 90 Day Fiancé to watch. And, like, we just put it on, and it's 2 hours. Like, it's a long movie. It's a full Fast and Furious movie long. It's good. There's a lot of chaos happening. Like, people are getting ready to the point where they're about to break up. Oh, God. So check this out. I'm going to tell you a quick anecdote, because if Jerry's watching it, and I'll tell everybody else too. There's a guy, and his name's Ash, right? And he's
on 90 Days or 90 Day the Other Way?
90 Day the Other Way, the latest season. And he's dating this girl from America. He lives in Australia. She's going out to finally meet him. He's like super buff, right? Like he's like a fitness model type guy. And his job is he's a relationship coach. And so like the whole time she's been really nervous that like all these girls text him and he's like, honey, they're my clients, you know, like I give them relationship advice and stuff like that. And she's thinking like this dude's like, you know, like hooking up with a bunch of these chicks and like this is cool. And they're like, you know, they're paying him out, but like he speaks in this like very woke language, right? He's like, oh, my aura and hers like combines and we relate to each other's feelings and like all this stuff, okay? And then like one of the last episodes, like the last two, she's like, I want to go see you do one of these classes. Mm-hmm. So she goes and he's hosting like a relationship coaching like seminar. He comes out and he's like, a man's brain does this. And you guys have women's brains.
Oh, boy.
And it fucking tanks. The whole crowd turns on him. He has to leave. His girlfriend now is like, this is very sexist. You're bad at this. And he's like, I feel like you're attacking me. And she's like, no. Like, you're just wrong. Like, you're absolutely wrong. And he's like, no, but like, I believe this. And she's like, then what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and so this is the point of the relationship we're getting at in them. It was so bad, Joey, that I couldn't look at the TV. I was like that uncomfortable with him saying all this dumb shit in front of this group of women that were ready to murder him.
It seems like things are going to go really well for them. That's my big takeaway here.
How is he in a relationship? How is he a relationship coach? We have a secret theory that he's a gigolo and he's been hiding it from her, and that's how he's actually making money. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So my friends and I, we talk about 90 Day Fiance. Like, I have other groups of friends and we talk about things like 90 Day Fiance the other way, and we have interesting
theories.
Very
thankful about, because that means I don't have to listen to it except for these like 5 minutes twice a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it out of my life, the other 167 hours a week or whatever.
Yeah, no, it is. Hey, man, it's just brain mush, so...
I get it.
I hope
get it.
Jerry, if you were not watching 90 Day Fiancé and you were just making a joke, sorry that I took us on this weird tangent, but you should watch it. It's fun.
And that's all the emails that we have for today. If you want to email us, family@cageclub.me. Just say hi, send in your rankings, whatever you want to do, family@cageclub.me. Also, if you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be very nice. No new reviews today, but please and thank you. 5 stars. Leave a nice comment. Leave a nice review.
Please.
Whatever.
Thank you.
On the streets. So the only thing that I have caught since we last did, it was something that that somebody mentioned. I think it might have been Alex or possibly Justin or maybe Wes. Someone in the family watch parties. They said the Fast and Furious Crossroads video game has been delayed, at least according to Amazon. It no longer has the May whatever release date. It's got December 31st, which I was saying in the chat, The Last of Us Part 2, which I think was supposed to come out in like February, then got pushed to April, and then got indefinitely delayed, and now is apparently coming out in June. Like, when it was indefinitely delayed, it had a 12/31 date. So it's like, still this year, we just don't know when. So probably this year, Crossroads will come out, but who knows? I can also really see them, like, we're going to release it near the movie.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. I get it.
Is there any other news? I don't think there's been any other news that I've seen. Have you seen anything else?
Nope, nothing recently.
All right, then we're going to look at Rock the Vote, the Rock President. Is there anything going on right now? Trump's valet has the coronavirus. I'm sure you heard about that.
No, well, he doesn't, because he gets tested all the time, but he doesn't have to, but he should.
So there's nothing there. And then Dwayne Johnson, president. Ooh, here's something good. Retiring Virginia teacher and superfan receives special surprise from Dwayne Johnson. Let's see what this is.
What is it about?
Carol Probst is a beloved English teacher at a Virginia high school. She's an inspiration to colleagues and students alike. After serving 39 years as an educator, Probst wanted one thing off her bucket list before her retirement: an autograph from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, that's
cute. Probst is a diehard superfan of the former pro athlete, Hollywood star, and businessman. It all started, oh boy. It all started after chaperoning a movie outing to the 2011 installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast 5.
She's a damn good teacher. That's a great English teacher.
Fellow Virginia High teacher Noah Ashbrook wrote to The Rock's Twitter account daily since February, requesting for an autograph and always capping off the tweet with hashtag #PropStrocks.
Okay.
Probst Rocks, her last name.
Okay,
Probst Rocks. Former Virginia High teacher Gary Skeen also reached out to NBC about Probst's story. Eventually, Johnson and his team caught wind of the requests. They surprised Probst Wednesday afternoon with a personalized gift package and video message.
That's so cool. Oh,
wow,
man.
Carol, congratulations. I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you, said Johnson. Thank you and your fellow teachers for your wisdom, love, care, and discipline. Teachers and administrators set up the school library to present her with the gifts. The unlikely fan of The Rock beamed with a smile, ear to ear, and in complete shock. I read the note, of course, but when I saw the video, I could not believe it was really happening. That was just the icing on the cake. It could not have been any better or more wonderful or any more wonderful.
Wow, man. That got me a little warm inside there. You have to respect the teachers.
I'm going to drop the audio in here so we can hear what Dwayne The Rock Johnson said.
Cool.
If I can capture the audio. I hope I can.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Carol, for your retirement from Virginia High School after 39 Amazing, incredible years. Wow, Carol, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. The Rock. That's wonderful. I mean, I guess we
Oh,
gotta
she's
know.
such a sweet. She looks like an English teacher, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
She like if you had a picture of an English teacher in your head, it's her.
He's not running for president, but he's leaving very nice video messages for retiring teachers.
He's
So,
positioning
cool.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the education president. I like that.
Yeah, he's kissing babies and shaking hands, right?
He
He's
is.
but in the age of social distancing, he is going remote. He's just saying, "Congratulations, wonderful, thank you for all your service."
That's very cool. I think teachers, much like nurses, need more respect, man.
Sure.
This isolation is going to make a lot of parents realize, I've already heard it from a lot of parents that they were like, damn, teachers are underpaid. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking care of 20 of these fuckers all day, every day.
By choice.
By choice. Teachers need more respect, for sure.
So that's all the news for today. But Joe, one more thing before we take a break. The Fast and the Furious minute 57, a minute I called, I don't know if you like this title,
What?
a 9-second car.
I do like the title.
Wow.
Me and my dad built her. 900 horses of Detroit muscle. It's a beast. Know what she ran in Palmdale?
No, what did she run?
9 seconds flat. My dad was driving. So much torque, the chassis twisted coming off the line. I barely kept her on the track.
So what's your best time?
I've never driven her.
Why not?
Scares the shit out of me. That's my dad. He's coming up in the pro stock car circuit. Last race of the season. A guy named Kenny Linder came up from inside.
So in this minute, as you just heard, Dom and Brian return to 1327. Then Dom shows Brian his dad's car and begins to tell him the story of his dad's death, though we don't know where the story is going yet.
Yeah.
So, very simple minute, but a very powerful, impactful minute, especially considering all the things that we learned about what almost happened with Dom and Brian's dad in the last episode.
What are the things that happened with Dom and Brian's dad?
Remember that Dom's dad, chased his wife off and then, beat
Yes.
Dom after he lost a race, and then Brian's dad had an affair. And
Yes,
he
we
was
know
shot
about
and
Brian.
killed.
I remember Brian's dad. I forgot about the Dom's dad was
Yeah,
like
Dom's
a scumbag.
dad was just like a scumbag, yeah.
Yeah.
But my first big takeaway from this minute is that, Dom is so proud of his dad when he speaks of him. I was just he's just swells with pride.
Yeah.
Showing off the car, talking about the dad, the 9-second car. He's just, so proud of his dad. Family.
He is. And, his dad has, 75 trophies in his fucking garage, too, so it's a lot to be proud of.
But why, oh, why? Why, oh, why did we not zoom in on this goddamn picture? Because he's like, there's my dad. Look at that little picture in the background, blurring out of focus and in the shadows.
So you're walking me right into something that I mentioned to you.
Oh, yes.
That I want to talk to you about. I'm going to ask you some questions. Just follow my logic train. We know that in the Fast and the Furious, if you don't see a body, the person's probably not dead, right?
Right.
We know that even if you do see a body, that doesn't mean much, right?
Sure, yeah.
We know that Dom's dad died in a fire explosion on a racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that Han died in a fire explosion on a racetrack.
Well, on a street, but yeah.
We also know that Letty died in a fire explosion in a car.
I mean, we saw it was different, but yeah, go ahead.
We also know that Etion can reconstruct humans to make them smarter, better, faster.
Sure, yep.
Knowing all of these things that we've established in this franchise, is there a possibility, and I'm going to take it one step further too, is there a possibility that Dom's dad is the voice of Etion?
So that is a brand new theory, because we had said it could be Papa Shaw.
Yeah.
We said it could be Papa Hobbs.
Yes.
We never thought Papa Toretto.
Yes.
I do wonder, because, okay, so
Go
we
ahead.
know that they know, the voice knows Hobbs and or Shaw, right? Because they're just like,
Yeah.
how would Dom's dad know? It would be a weird coincidence. I'm not against the idea, because I'm
What?
all for theories.
'Kay.
But it would be a weird coincidence that the villain in this movie that it seems like Vin Diesel has sworn off would be his character's father. And coincidentally, his character's father has also had run-ins with Hobbs and Shaw in the past.
But hear me out. I thought about this a lot. What if Cypher is trying to get God's eye, right? She has God's eye.
Yeah.
How do we know that She's not trying to get God's eye for Etion, or Etion's had God's eye. Dom's dad was using it to make sure that Mia and Dom were okay. How do we not know that Dom's dad hasn't been influencing this from the beginning to get Dom out of jail, to save him in all of those situations?
I mean, that would be great. But are you saying Dom's dad is a villain, but he's also saving the family? Like, where does he fall allegiance wise?
He's like the Darth Vader, right?
Oh, so he's pure evil, but he's still saving his children.
Yeah, he's like pure evil, but he still like is concerned about them. It would make sense. Dom's dad wasn't the cleanest cut guy. He dies. So say this is it. And then my theory continues. Somebody that was at the forefront of this, possibly Cypher's mom or dad, found Dom's dad's body, and put it back together, unbeknownst to the family. This is a separate running timeline, right? Whoever's in Etion or running Etion or something like that. We have like a Tony Stark, Papa Stark type situation, where like the company gets passed down now to the next guy, but Dom's dad is still alive as a robot and working with or for Etion, or is now the head of Etion. We don't know. Or
Cypher's company.
And what this will lead to, which is the greatest ending of Fast 10, is that they have to fight Dom's dad.
Well, I think you're missing a key component that makes all of this more possible, more believable.
What?
Not only is Jacob their brother.
I don't know. Yes, I thought about this too.
Cypher's a family member, that she's saving her dad. That she's maybe... So we've talked about how Jacob may be like a half-sibling, right?
Yes.
That she and Jacob are full siblings from the dad's other marriage, for
maybe.
Instance. And so she saved him, or she was there and she was raised by him after that. Yeah.
She could have been raised by robot Dom dad.
Every time we do an episode of either Cruise Club or Hanks in the Memories, Mike is just basically keeps saying, I want Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks to play Dom's dad in a flashback. Because Dom's dad now would be probably 65 or 70, right? Like, he's not young. Because if Dom is like 40... I mean, Vin is like 50, right? But, like, if Dom is supposed to be like 40-ish, 40, 45, figure dad 20, 25, 30 years old when he has him. So, like, in his 60s or maybe early 70s.
Yeah.
Not crazy, not inconceivable.
No, it's not.
Do you think there's a chance? I mean, no, I guess he would know, because he's met... I was going to say, could Mr. Nobody be the dad? But, like, he knows his dad. That's a soap opera twist that we can't have coming.
No, we can't. Because Dom knows who his dad is. So his dad hasn't been around. Like, there wouldn't be, like, this thing where, like, Mr. Nobody, like, shaves his mustache, like, or grows a mustache, and he's like, Dad? You know what I mean? Like... like some
Although that would be good. That would be very good.
Some weird shit like that. But this is what I was thinking about when I see that. We don't see the picture, so we don't know who he is. Unless we see the death, they're probably not dead. We know that we can rebuild humans into robots. There's a possibility, man.
There's so many possibilities. I'm just trying to figure out... I mean, the big questions are...
What?
How do Etion and Cypher's organization connect? If this is the through line, do the Hobbs and Shaw and the Fastiverse universes connect in any kind of grand shakes way?
They should. We said, remember, there's been like all those rumors that they're going back to the racetrack and Dom's dad's going to be a big part of 9, which makes sense because Jacob's in it. Wouldn't it make ultimate sense that like Dom's dad comes back for 10? We were saying like, what can be the next villain? What could be bigger? What could be better? And it would have to be that like Jacob and Dom come together and then have to fight their dad. Like, that's the ultimate family, right? We know that Dom loves his dad.
I feel like it's very similar to 9, unless they set it up in... I don't know. We'll see.
We don't know what 9's in it. Yeah, we're not even at the end of 9 yet. We don't know what happened in 9.
No, but I'm just saying that, like, if in 9, Dom's fighting his brother, and then in 10, Dom's fighting his dad, it's just like... It's very similar. It's different. It's grander, but it's similar.
I mean, we're all about leveling up, right? I think that there can't be a bigger villain in the franchise than Dom fighting his dad. Like, we've had him fight the family. Now we're going to have him fight his brother. The next thing is he has to fight his dad.
So we're saying that basically no one else in this universe matters. It's all about Dom.
Dom is the cornerstone of the franchise, right?
Well, I mean, Brian was.
No, it was from Brian's perspective, but Dom is the crux. He's what's holding it together. It was always Toretto.
Thanks, Tanner. I guess email family@cageclub.me. What do you think of Joe's new crazy theory?
Yeah, I can't get out of this box now that I put myself in. I can't unthink about that they have to bring Dom's dad back somehow, and he had to not be dead, and he had to like just have been escaping from the law, became a robot or something, and he's still out there.
I do feel like at some point the soap opera nature of all of this has to come to a kind of an end. Like, they can't be like, everybody's back, Han coming back. If they do the same thing with the dad, it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, I feel like I love the idea. I'm just wondering.
But the dad wouldn't even be coming back. He would be there coming for the first time, right? Like, he would be coming.
But Dom thinks that both his dad and Han died in similar ways, you know,
And
30
Letty.
or 20 years apart, whatever. And Letty. And Letty came back, Ghost Girl, and Han comes back, and the dad is just like, really?
I think so, man. I don't think we would fight it that hard until after.
No,
when
I
we
mean,
talked
if
about
they
it.
do it well, I'm down for anything. I don't want them to keep going to the same well over and over again if they don't have to. But again, we don't know how Han came back. We don't know how, you know,
True.
this dad stuff, he might actually be dead. Who knows?
Yeah, that was my major thoughts watching this minute, and it was, whew.
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
I also, while we were getting a tour of this garage, I was reminded of the supercharged ride, the line leading up to supercharged, where you're like walking around the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this garage, but like a similar garage.
Yes.
They got the family barbecue set up outside. But like, wouldn't it be nice if we could walk around that line and be like, oh, there's a picture on the wall. Oh, look, it's Keanu Reeves. Cool. All right. I guess we know who Dom's dad is.
You want Keanu to be Dom's dad?
No, I mean, I don't. Sure, why not? I mean, he's not old enough, I don't think. But
No.
like,
In a flashback,
you could age him
maybe.
up.
Yeah.
Age him up.
Age him up. Yeah, that would work too.
I also do want to say before we dive into what we see in the garage that the song in this minute is off the score by BT. It's called First Race, which I think is kind of, sort of, a strange title.
No, maybe like Dom's first race, you know?
I guess, but like, it comes in when he's talking about his dad getting, you know, bumped by Kenny Linder, right? Like, it's...
Yeah, true.
And I also do want to say that we talked about this on, honestly, I can't remember this podcast or one I did with Mike, but we talk about, you know, Chekhov's gun. Did I talk to you about Chekhov's gun?
Yeah, if you see
or
the
no?
gun, you better use it. Yes, we were talking about that in a previous episode, like 2
Okay,
episodes
good.
ago. Yeah.
Thank you. This is essentially Chekhov's Charger. Like, it's like, oh, we see the Charger, Dom's never driven it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's going
know.
to drive it. Like, it's just like, that's how movies work.
Yeah, you see the Charger. Brian's like, "Have you ever driven?" He's like, "I've never driven this car before ever." And he's like, "Okay, well, we're gonna
It's like,
fucking
cool, we
drive
got, what,
that thing.
40 minutes left? Yeah, okay, cool. You're going to, not too much time long. Yeah.
We're definitely gonna see this thing fucking run. That's for sure."
Yeah. So what did you see in the garage
Oh
of
my
note? 'Cause
God.
You made a lot of notes. There's a lot of things we wrote down. There's some cool signage. There's some cool license plates. Anything of cool note, some teaser tasters. Now that we got more patrons, now that the Gallo 24 is filling up, people can go to the Fast and Furious Minute doc on 2fast2forever.com. But what is the coolest stuff that you find that the eagle-eye viewer would have to hunt for?
Things that really stuck out to me is that I remember that there was trophies in this room, but not how many fucking trophies there were.
Okay.
There's like a ton of these trophies around everywhere.
I mean, they're really good at what they do.
Apparently, yeah, he just has a ton of... For Dom, like, illegally street racing, there's a lot of trophies in this house.
And there's also, you know, we saw the trophies at the auto body shop too. Like, there's just trophies everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Well, these, I mean, they're not, I don't think they're making trophies for race wars. I think there's trophies for, like, stock car and stuff.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually guessing that a lot of these are his dad's trophies, right?
Probably, yeah.
Even then, he won a ton of trophies.
Well, because he was coming up in the pro stock car circuit. So, like, he was not maybe necessarily established, but maybe in the amateurs. Maybe these are all amateur trophies. I don't know.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed is that there's so many helmets in this garage.
Cool.
I counted at least 3 helmets in various places. So, like, why they needed all these racing helmets when nobody in the movies ever uses a racing helmet, I don't know, but he has a bunch of them. I got as much of all the license plates on the license plate wall behind Dom as I could. So if you're curious about what the license plates say behind Dom, I got them all. Cool thing, Dom's Charger. I watched the Craig Lieberman video about Dom's Charger. Some cool things from there is that I have a link in here to Craig Lieberman has some build pictures on his Instagram of them, like, building the car. The other cool, funny thing is that I think we've mentioned this before in watching another Craig Lieberman video, or I saw it in a Craig Lieberman video. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but it's like another story that, like, somebody has the blower, like the big intake, the supercharger, like the thing that sticks out of the hood for you.
Yep.
Somebody has that, and they, like, took it from, like, one of the things because the engine that we see in this shot was borrowed from Chuck Taylor Racing Engines, okay?
Oh,
And they
okay.
literally, like, put the engine in the body, took this shot, and then they took the engine out and returned it to those guys. Like, that was it. Like, they'd never start this engine. They never connected it in the car. They're just like, we had this engine just for this shot, and then we gave it back to them, and we thanked them for it. And so now to recreate it, they have like a bunch of other cars. All of the stunt cars had just like, you know, this thing stuck to the top of it to make it look like it was that engine.
Interesting. Okay.
Craig Lieberman said that he wasn't really involved in this because they knew what they were going to do with this car. This Charger was handled by the stunt team as opposed to the car team that he was on to like find the hero cars and stuff like that. That's really interesting and plays into our stuntman Mike. All of these other movies that we were watching this year, he didn't seem like he picked the Charger, and maybe
the Charger picked him.
No, maybe the stunt team picked the Charger, and we know from Death Proof that the stunt team was a big fan of the Charger, and that would make perfect sense, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this would be a really cool fact. I wonder if we can get to the bottom of it ever and know if like the stunt team was like, oh yeah, as soon as we like knew we were doing a car movie and they wanted a classic car, we were like, fucking Charger, like 70 Charger, that's exactly what we want, right? So
done deal. Yeah,
it would be really funny if that's what happened, but I can imagine if the stunt team had any influence on it, they all probably loved all these other car movies and were like, why don't we just use a 70s Charger like all these other car movies that we love?
Yeah. Anything else you want to point out, or do you want to just direct people to the
I don't know. Do you have anything else that was cool? Is there anything that I wrote down that was cool? There's a yellow toy car in the garage that I want to find out what the car is, but you can't focus in on it. Like, I mean, like a lot of this stuff's in the peripherals, but it's hard to see. So, I mean, there's tools everywhere. There's belts everywhere. More jerry cans hanging over there. Shout out, listener Jerry.
We see, I think maybe for the first time, or definitely from the first time from this angle, that when they open the barn doors to the garage, we see across the street, the house across the street from 1327. It's a white exterior, like a white or a brown roof. There's like shrubs out front. There's like a second floor balcony. And I was thinking about how living there, you get to look at 1327 every day. Not that 1327 is like a really magnificent house, but like you can like look out your window. And then that made me think about, there was a TV show called An Idiot Abroad. Did you ever watch like or listen to the Ricky Gervais podcast or like the Ricky Gervais show on HBO?
Nope.
So it was him and Stephen Merchant who co-created The Office UK, and they had on there Karl Pilkington.
Do you like Ricky Gervais?
I used to. I don't.
I kind of find him annoying.
He essentially not invented podcasting, but like we're kind of doing this because like he did it. Like he made it. Like people had it before, but he was the first celebrity to do it, and people were like, oh. And so he was really big in terms of the advocate, the inception of that.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not a huge fan of The Office. I've never seen the UK Office.
Oh, I love The Office. I like the show. I like all of his work. Like his body of work.
Oh yeah, no, he's just an insufferable prick sometimes.
Yes! Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, whenever I see, like, anything and everybody's like, watch Ricky Gervais say this funny thing, and he's like, hey, I'm a douchebag, and you're like, okay, cool, dude, shut up.
He had a show called An Idiot Abroad where they had, so on his podcast.
Yes.
Let me take us back. On the podcast, they had this guy, Karl Pilkington. And I don't remember if he was like a producer. I don't remember where he came from. I don't remember how he fit into Ricky and Steven's life. He's just this guy who, like, isn't dumb, but is, like, very sure about things that are insane and clearly wrong.
Okay.
And so they would just, like, they would make fun of him and just have him explain things. And he would just be like, I don't. So they sent him because he had basically just grown up and never really left his small town in England.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm not going to say anything bad, but I often think that a lot of people that I may be friends with on social media should probably just, like, leave their small town once and just expand their brains. I like the concept of this, is all I was saying.
So, yes. So they would basically send him around the world to all these different things, and because he was kind of insufferable and just like an annoying kind of idiot, he wouldn't, like, get what's going on. So he, actually, there's one of my favorite, I'm trying to find the picture right now. Give me 1 second. They did one thing, they sent him when he was in Egypt. One of my favorite images of all time, and this is real, this isn't, like, photoshopped.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this. You've sent me this picture
before. Eating at Pizza Hut outside the pyramids. And
yes.
It's just like, he doesn't want to have like Egyptian culture. He just wants his thing that he wants, whatever, right?
Yes, this is a great picture, and you've sent me this before. It was
perfect. My cover photo on Facebook for a long, long time.
It's beautiful. I love it. It's like, it's him in a Pizza Hut. You can see that it's a Pizza Hut, and then there's just the pyramids in the background out the window behind him.
So in one episode, he goes to like this some like magnificent palace. Like, I don't remember what it is, but like it's carved out of stone. Like it's in the side of this mountain. It's like this ornate house or whatever. And Ricky's like, cool, enjoy that. You're not staying there. You're staying across the street, basically. And across the street, it's just like a cave. It's like literally a cave. Karl in that episode is like, you know what? Like, I prefer this because like if I'm here, I get to see that house. But if I'm over there, I'm just looking at a cave. And it's like, it's weird, fucked up logic, but it makes sense. It's like, I could be living in the castle, but the view is terrible. Or I could be living in the cave, but like, look at the castle. And like, it's this ornate majesty.
I love it. I think that we should buy the house across the street.
Yeah.
And we both have a bedroom that faces 1327. And every morning, we can wake up and just open the windows. And I'll be standing there drinking my coffee, robe on, like, one leg up way too high on top of a table or something, and you're doing like the same thing beneath me, facing the other way, just like staring at the house across the street. It'll just like be perfect.
Sure, you'd like to be living in 1327, but there's something nice about being able to see it and not having the pressure of living there, right? So
yeah, because we could do whatever we wanted inside our house. There's no magic in the walls of our house. If we want to start tearing down walls, putting TVs somewhere weird, we could do it. But if we were like lived in 1327, we'd have to only play PlayStation 2 on the floor and have 7,000 candles everywhere.
Yeah.
Snapples in fruit bowls just sitting in our rooms.
And Snapples, candles, fruit bowls, everything.
Food all over the place.
Yeah, food all over the place. Trivia question here. I have 2 written down. I don't know if either are good. I don't know if we want to do one or both or neither, but I wrote down how much horsepower does Dom's dad's car have, or what happened to Dom's dad's car when he raced his car? 900 horsepower or the chassis twisted.
Oh, I don't know.
The second one might be difficult to come up with other options. The first one is, again, kind of just like a numbers guessing game. If we're like 800, 900, 1,000, it's just like...
I like what happened to Dom's dad's car when he raced it, and it's the chassis twisted, he wrecked it, won his spot in the pro stock car tournament.
And I have it wouldn't start.
It wouldn't start. That's good. Yeah. That's really good.
Now, do we want to say he wrecked it? Because that could technically be true.
No, he wrecked his racing car. This is the car that he and Dom built. It's a different car. He's talking about 2 different cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dom's dad's Charger, right?
Yeah.
When he raced it.
I like that. That's really good, right? Vagueness, but also enough. And if you know the movie, you're like, so much torque, it twisted the chassis off the line.
And Dom looks so happy about it. He's just like, fucking the raw power of this shit, man. Like, look at this.
Yeah, man stuff.
Look at us. Who would have thought? Any other thoughts about the minute or anything, or are we going to take a break and bring in Dan Hamamura from Pajiba?
I think that we should take a break and bring in Dan, because I have a feeling this is going to be a really good episode.
It's going to be an all-timer tonight.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This episode's brought to you by Mazda, designed to inspire. The soul red crystal metallic paint was inspired by the glow of intensely heated steel, the tone ebbing and flowing between the ruby red of molten metal and the distinctive shade of ebony of the surrounding elements. Thank you, Mazda.
Well, thank you indeed to Mazda. All right, got to clear my throat already. 30 seconds and we are rocking here. With us today to talk about Tokyo Drift. Joe, we teased it a couple episodes ago. We teased it in the opening. We're completing our Connect 4 or our tic-tac-toe or something of Pajiba writers. We first, we talk about her a lot. She broke our brain. We had Kate Hudson on. Wonderful. Then a couple episodes ago, we had Roxana Haddadi on. Wonderful.
Yep.
Our guest tonight has expressed concern to me that he won't live up to it. I'm like, no, it's going to be great. You're going to be wonderful. You're going to be amazing. With us tonight to talk about Tokyo Drift, we have Dan Hamamura. Hello, Dan.
Hi. Thanks for having me. And yes, I am terrified that I'm not going to live up to their example, because both Kate and Roxana are amazing and incredibly in-depth and incredibly opinionated, and I don't know if it sounds like I'm saying that like it's a bad thing. It's not.
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
But
we know they're
yeah,
rock stars for sure.
I hope to acquit myself well.
Glad you're here, man.
When we had Roxana on, I think before we started recording, I was like, oh, we're going to have Dan on in a couple episodes. And she's like, oh, what movie? And I said, Tokyo Drift. She's like, oh, perfect. Like, that's the one he should be like. So I guess it's established that this is like your favorite one. Is that true?
Well, it's not necessarily my favorite one, but it's probably the most important to me.
Okay. Well, we will get into that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't want to jump the gun. I guess, I don't want to preemptively do the rankings. I mean, I'm all a fluster. We've been doing so many extra episodes. We're doing 2 a week now in quarantine instead of just the 1 a week. And I feel like having a guest is now so unusual. Like instead of every other episode, it's now every fourth. And I'm like, I don't remember how to talk to people who aren't Joe. It's weird.
That's not an uncommon thing for you in general.
I know. I'm not very good at things.
Slam dunk.
And that's how I feel, just in life anyway. So
Yeah.
So we're going to have some either or lightning round questions. But before we get there, I would like to first establish your credentials. I'm assuming you've seen all 9 movies. Is that correct?
Yes, I have seen all 9 movies.
Wonderful. Do you remember when was the first time that you saw, I guess, 2-part question. What was the first one of them you saw? And when did you first see Tokyo Drift?
So I first saw, I actually remember seeing the first one in theaters.
Wow.
Okay.
So I was in college at the time, and it was like every week whatever's playing we would just go see it, and it looked fun, and I went with my friends, and it was fun. Like I was like, oh yeah, that was a fun movie.
Were you sold, or were you like just like that was fun? That was a cool Saturday.
It was more the latter. I definitely enjoyed it, but it was very much a I saw it once. I'm like, I don't need to see it again.
Okay.
Then, for whatever reason, there wasn't any particular reason, but I didn't see Too Fast, Too Furious. So I missed that. I didn't see another one until actually Fast and Furious. So the 4th one.
Okay.
So you just skipped 2 and 3.
I skipped 2 and 3, yeah. I skipped 2 just kind of by accident, and I skipped 3 because I heard that it was Justin Lin. I didn't like Better Luck Tomorrow, his first movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, I should preface this by saying, when I was in college, I was an asshole, and
I think everybody was.
But I was like a film asshole, and
so is Joey still. So
much. I know, I get it.
I love to hate on movies, and when Better Luck Tomorrow came out, I saw it, and I was like, this is not the movie speaking for Asian America. I don't know what everybody's talking about. This is crazy, and I held that against Justin Lin, and didn't see Annapolis, and then didn't see Tokyo Drift. But I finally came around when basically friends of mine who had seen Tokyo Drift, they were like, you have to see this movie. It's so much fun. It's great. And I was like, no, Justin Lin's a hack. I'm never gonna see that movie. I'm not gonna support him.
He's never gonna be anything. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's not going to have a career. But the other thing was they would make fun of me because they would say, you look like Han, which is, by the way, not true. Like, I do not.
Okay.
The only resemblance I have is that I'm kind of tall for being Asian, and I had longish hair at that time. If you're going to say, yeah, you're kind of tall and have longish hair like Han, then sure. Then I guess I look like Han. I'm not blessed with the kind of cheekbones that Sung Kang brings.
None of us are.
Through basically my friends wearing me down, I finally said, fine, I will see this movie. And then I watched it, and I was blown away, and I loved it. And then after that, I was off to the races.
So I don't remember if it was Roxana or some other guest this lap also did the same thing where they saw the first one, they skipped 2 and 3, and then they saw 4. And it's like, both of you, I think it's you and Roxana, like, you saw the same movie twice, essentially. Like, because the 4 is just like a grittier kind of reboot of the first one, just with less Letty. It's weird how that keeps happening, it seems.
It's also a good way to do it. If you want to skip any 2, skip 2 and 3 to get to 4, and then reestablish and go back. It's really, you lucked into it. Because
2, it's entertaining in its own way. It's probably, I feel like 2 is weirdly the least essential.
Yeah, we agree.
I mean, even though, it establishes Tej and Roman. I didn't see 2 until after, I think, 5. So I didn't really know who they were, and I went back and saw, I'm like, oh, that's fine. But they're not the same people that they become by the time we love all the movies.
No. They level up real quick.
Yeah.
So now that we know you've seen them all, now we know sort of your rough kind of order in which you saw them, can you please give us your rankings? Either from the top down or bottom up, whatever you prefer.
Okay. I guess I'll go bottom up.
Okay.
Only because I feel like that's going to be weirder. Because the top, everyone, like, number
I
one's
like
going to be
bottom up.
5. You know it's going to be 5. So
Everybody says 5 is the best. Like Joe and I both
Mhm.
think 5 is like our favorite. And then we had one of our listeners write in, Hector, and he's like this high school kid, and he loves cars, and he's like, fuck 5. I don't think it's this dramatic, but he's like, fuck 5. Like, it's not about cars anymore. It's about action. It's my 8th favorite. We're like, whoa, like this
Wow.
terrible
Hey, bud.
combo breaker. Like it was
Yeah.
first, 8th, first. Like everybody, all the rankings that we're getting, it's just like, whoa, like where did that? We were blown away. We were like, where did that come from?
if you come into these wanting to see a movie that has the car culture stuff,
Mhm.
then that would make sense that you wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
kind of like 5 on. They're just different movies.
Sure.
Okay, but anyway, here are my rankings. Bottom up, Hobbs and Shaw is at the bottom.
Oof, you and Roxana both hating on that one. Oh, and Kate too. All 3 Pajiba, all 9th, all last place Hobbs and Shaw. I think there's something in the water.
There's something, yeah. We clearly all just we talked about it beforehand. No, I don't know what it is. Like I have a group of friends who I see ever since I think 6. We've seen every single movie in theaters together opening weekend. Like it was even one of the friends moved to San Diego
Mhm.
for a few years, and when he was down there, we still had to see 7 and 8, and so we would meet halfway between LA and San Diego, which is like South Orange County, basically. But we were like, no, we still have to see these movies together.
I love
it.
We do the same thing, man. Yeah, I feel
That's
you.
awesome.
We drive to like the Palisades.
Yeah, we both drive like 75 minutes to meet between the 2.5
Yeah.
hours between us. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Hobbs and Shaw is the first one that we came out of that we were all kind of silent and we're kind of like, was that good? Like, did we enjoy that? I don't know. It's there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in there, but like I don't feel like I need to see it again. That's a big part of whether or not I feel like I like the movie, is just if I want to revisit it.
We're now 4 deep on Hobbs and Shaw, Joey?
I think we started at last lap, but we think we did it like 3 times. Yeah, I think we're probably 4 times in. Yeah.
It gets better with more watches, I think.
Also, if you put on HBO any time now, it's always on HBO this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And watching it more passively, that's a really great way to absorb the Fast and the Furious movie. So, maybe give it a shot, in the background while you're folding some laundry.
No pressure.
I do feel like I should give it another shot, but at least right now it's at the bottom.
Now here's an important question for you. Are you disappointed in it as a Fast and Furious movie or as a movie in general? Do you know what I mean? Because like our thing here is that like even a bad Fast and Furious movie is still a good movie, pretty much.
For whatever reason, when I saw it, I was asking too many questions while the movie was going on.
Okay.
I don't know if I can properly explain why, but that to me usually is a sign that I'm just not paying attention, or I'm not engaged.
Gotcha.
By it.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel you. Yeah.
Like I was asking questions about like, wait, how old is his sister, and how does his timeline work?
Oh yeah, that all makes sense.
And then,
yeah.
and then why are they flying? 16 hours across. Like it's worth it for the right. Where's Owen? It's worth it to fly halfway around the world to get the car sequence at the end, but also it's like it should make a little sense.
Sure. Yep.
Next for me is 8.
Yeah, fate is always pretty low.
Yeah, again, kind of falling into the same thing where I don't envy them their task, because each movie has to become bigger just kind of by the nature of how franchises work.
Right.
It's gotten to the point where it's so big for whatever reason. The magic of my suspension of disbelief is not working in the same way.
It's like, how many times can these same 6 people save the world?
Right.
Well, now 25 people,
Yeah.
but sure.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty big fan.
But again, 8 has scenes and sequences that I like.
Oh yeah.
So this is a tough ranking.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's a really hard thought exercise. I always find a way to not do it.
Yeah, we sympathize. We sympathize every time we ask somebody to do this.
Well, we're still in the easy section because the middle is the hard part for me.
Okay.
Next for me is Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay.
It's not even. I don't even have a reason. It's the one that I've seen the least. Other than, I guess I've only seen Hobbs and Shaw once, but I don't know. Too Fast, Too Furious just never landed with me.
Okay.
Has it grown on you, Joey? Because I remember you started out with Too Fast pretty low, right?
Yeah, 2 was my one where I wasn't. I mean, I have it also at 7. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I just think, to Dan's point, like it's difficult to rank, and like it's hard to put it above things. Like I still think what we were saying earlier, like you don't need to, like you reestablish Roman and Tej in 5, right? But like,
yeah, fair.
I like it though. I mean, it's fun. I like it. I mean, I'm gonna watch it for infinity. I better like it.
Amen.
I'll admit it has grown on me since the first time I saw it. I just can't put it higher in this
I
list.
get you.
That's all.
Yeah.
Fair.
So now we're in the middle three is where I have been, no joke, reordering these over the past week.
If
And
anybody can relate, it's us, brother. Trust us.
and they keep jumping. So this is just where they are as of right now. So next for me is 7.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking about it, and 7 has kind of jumped between 4th and 6th for me.
Yeah, yep.
The reason why I have it here is that I kept thinking about it, and obviously the ending is amazing. And the way that
Yes.
they handle that is so impressive. And like, I remember crying in the theater and being like, why am I crying at a Fast and Furious movie? This is absurd. Outside of that, there isn't a ton in the movie that I really remember.
Fair.
I feel like that's almost overshadowed the rest of the movie to a point where I'm kind of like, if I think about 7, that's really all I'm thinking about. Maybe the cars coming out of the airplane. That's kind of the other favorite scene for me.
Yeah, like we have a shortcut that Joe has basically established where like 7's the one where Paul dies, 6 is the one where there's the world's longest runway, 5 is the one where they have the safe. But like I'm thinking, I sometimes have a hard time placing what movie Hobbs is in the hospital where The Rock was shooting whatever other movie and like he flexes out of his cast. And I'm like, oh right, that is 7. Because like, he's in all of 6 and like 7's not really about him, but he's kind of, because you're right, like it's the one with Deckard, but you always think that end first, like it's above everything else, for better and worse.
And it's weird because I really like Jason Statham, and so I would assume that would be higher up on the list just off of that alone. But yeah, I know. But again,
it's overshadowed. I feel like I agree with you a ton. It's very overshadowed, and that's where I've been coming to it. A lot of people really love 7 in their rankings because of the emotional feeling they have it and the attachment that they have to Paul, and what it meant then. But I think, like, as a Fast and the Furious movie, I'm with you, brother. I put it much lower than some of the other ones.
Yeah. So now we're in the middle, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
5 in the middle. Yeah.
So right in the middle for me is Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
It is kind of inessential if you're just talking about the larger series of it, but it's the first one that Justin Lin directed, which turned out to be important in a positive way and not a negative way, as I originally assumed. It's obviously the one that has the most Han. It's the one that forced the other movies to do this weird retconning, which I love. It's also rewatching it for the podcast. One thing that I was struck by was I had kind of forgotten how low stakes it is. And these movies have become such giant movies now that it was kind of fun to just see like people just racing, and there's kind of a gang thing going on. Yeah, but it's mostly just people being jealous and wanting to race and getting mad over girls.
Did the family bring this upon themselves? I mean, I know it's the writers needing to ramp it up, like what you said before, but like the first 4 movies all feel kind of like close, tight-knit personal stories. And then in 5, they're like, we're going to steal $100 million. And it's like almost like they brought the world's attention upon them and they were thrust into the spotlight. Like, I know it's just Chris Morgan, like, how do we go crazier? But really, it's like, if you follow it narratively, they were just, cruising under the radar, like Brian doing his weird things.
They were local bad boys, and now they're international bad boys? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It is You're My Lifespan. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
But I wonder. I mean, that's, narratively that plays, I think. So who knows? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it was all, I don't want to blame Dom, but, it was because they had to break him out at the end of 4/Big Enough 5. And if that hadn't happened, if he hadn't decided, no, I'm going to face some music, or I don't know if I'm getting that ending right for 4.
He chooses not to run. Yeah.
Right. He had a chance to run. Right. So if he had run, they don't end up in this problem. But then they don't save the world 4 times. So, maybe it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, Tokyo Drift, I don't know. It's just fun and becomes more fun every time I watch it, which is kind of nice. So, and then after that, I have Fast and Furious, so number 4.
Number 4 at 4. Okay.
This is another one where it kind of flips back and forth. Watching it and kind of the way it reestablishes the series, I feel like it's more important than I realized.
Exactly my thoughts, brother.
Because it's still like a kind of street car culture adjacent, but then they're starting to fight crime. You also have the tanker heist at the beginning, which is holds up really well, better than I expected when I rewatched it. And it kind of kicks off the second phase of now we're, superheroes.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, and this is, you've already kind of hinted that Fast 5 is going to be number 1. So what's really interesting, Joe, this is now the 44th or 45th ranking that we have, right? The average ranking for the first movie and the 6th movie, one's a 359, one's a 358. 1 is perfect. 1 means it's everybody's favorite movie. 9 means it's everybody's least favorite. So like a 358, 359, they're like basically tied for second. So like you have all the, I mean, for right now, you have all the power in your hands to determine which one collectively people like more. So number 3, is it Fast and Furious 6? Or is it the Fast and the Furious? Or do you throw a monkey wrench in there and it's Fast 5, not at number 1?
Oh, well, that would be amazing to throw that monkey wrench in there, but that would be untrue. So number 3 is the original.
Okay.
The Fast and Furious. I don't know. I actually haven't seen it in a while. I had a grand plan at one point where I was going to rewatch all of them before this, and then it turned into, no, I'm just going to rewatch Han-related stuff because of Tokyo Drift.
Now, did you go back and watch Better Luck Tomorrow to do the Han-related stuff too, or no?
I didn't, but I have seen it within the past year. Oh, you mean as far as like tying it in? If that's
because like, that's the one movie we have not seen that yet. Joe and I both separately haven't seen it. We haven't covered it for the podcast yet, so we can't really talk about it. If you're going for the complete Han filmography, like I feel like that's kind of, it's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. No, I didn't rewatch it, but it's I don't know. I think he's joking, right?
That's I don't know. Really. I mean, is any of this real? Is any of this fake? Who knows? Who can tell?
I don't know, but yeah. So the original is number 3 for me, and then Fast 6 is number 2.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
World's Longest Runway. I love it.
Amen.
It has the second best kind of team building stuff with the family other than 5. They lose in ways that are fun and hadn't been done so much. Like I'm thinking of when they're chasing was it in the subway they're fighting and like everyone gets their ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that, which hadn't happened that much.
Yeah, they don't lose anymore. Like that's like the last movie where they actually like take a loss kind of.
Yeah, it finally gets Han to his destination, although we know now that that wasn't really his thing. So.
Yeah, we do know now.
Yeah.
And then Fast 5 is number 1.
Of course. Yeah.
It's the most rewatchable. It's the most fun. The Rock and Vin Diesel are still, they don't totally hate each other yet. Anytime the final chase scene is on or near being on TV, then I would just be like, well, I'll just sit here and watch this for 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, and it's probably the most fun, I think. It's definitely the most, I think, to me, it's the most fun, most enjoyable, so.
I think and we've talked about this a lot, but I think it's a really nice blend of like a very tight, intimate movie, like you're saying in the early ones are, because the first hour, for the most part, is just the 3 of them, and then it gets all the crazy action stuff, and there's a nice blend of everything. It's kind of the perfect, it's the perfect Fast and Furious movie, I think.
Bring the whole team together for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really perfect.
It's their Avengers.
And it even had, I'm forgetting the character's name, but Matt Schultz for a little bit. And he hadn't been in since the first one. Yeah, Vince.
All right, well, thank you for that. Now we've got some very hard-hitting either-or questions. No wrong answers.
Okay.
These are all basically just opinion questions. Then at the end of the show, we're going to do a character quiz, find out who you actually are, which family member you're most like. But here, these are just fun, no stakes, either-or. Are you more of a Brian or a Dom?
Oh, Brian.
Okay.
Oh, do you want explanations or
if you want, you don't have to. Whatever you want. If you have like I have the bluest of blue eyes. I don't know. I like imports. Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
It's definitely just that Brian is much more of a rule follower who can be corrupted for the right reasons. I feel like I identify with that versus being a Dom who lives by his own rules and drinks Corona and
cowboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually leads us beautifully into our next question, which is our newest question, not your other question, Joe. This is another one that we introed last episode with Roxana. Last time. Do you think, Dan, is Brian a good cop or a bad cop?
Ooh. And we're talking about, when you say good or bad, we're talking about at his job.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Is he good at his job or is he bad at his job? Because he's very clearly a bad cop, like in terms of like,
right.
Because he lets criminals go. Do you think he's good at his job or bad at his job?
He has to be bad. Well, he has to be bad at his job, right? In the first one, he infiltrates the gang. Vince is onto him almost immediately, even though no one believes Vince. So he's not even that good at being undercover. Screws it up, falls in love, lets Dom go, but then somehow gets promoted into working in Florida, and then gets promoted to being with the FBI. Yeah. And he just keeps on failing upward.
Story of the white man in America, am I right?
Exactly. So maybe that means he's a great cop.
So I'll say bad or great. So like
Bad or great, yeah.
So in the Google sheet that I track all of this in, I have like a if text basically reads this box, it's this. If it reads this box, it's that. I don't think I can do this with this because we've only had 2 answers so far, and I don't think we're ever going to have a good or bad because Roxana said he's smart enough to know he shouldn't be a cop. Like I feel like we're going to have like more nuance and more like intricate answers here than for any other question.
Oh, that's such a perfect Roxana answer.
Yeah.
Now, similarly to the first question, are you more of a Mia or a Letty?
Mia.
Okay, we're a bunch of Mias here too. We get it.
Again, just I'm not so tough and rough and tumble. And,
Exactly. None of us are. It's okay.
Are you more of a Roman or a Tej?
Oh, I'm definitely a Tej.
Okay.
Nice.
You more of a Hobbs or a Shaw? This is like we're sort of like we're going way back and forth between like all sorts of personality types here.
Yeah. Between those two, I'm probably a Shaw.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time identifying with either because they're both alphas in a way that I'm so not. And I'm like, which one is The Rock can lift more? So maybe that makes me a Shaw instead of a Hobbs. And I would probably wear a suit over a tank top. So I guess.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Are you more a fan of American muscle or imports?
Imports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very much in the minority there, but you're right with Joe, so that's good.
That's just kind of, I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, so that's kind of where I'm not a car person by any means, but the car culture that I grew up around with friends and stuff, it was a lot of Acura Integras and people, lowering their Civics, and actually a lot of basically what you'd see in the original Fast and Furious kind of stuff.
Very cool. Are you more a fan, or do you prefer to drink a Corona or a Belgian ale?
Oh, not really either. I guess Corona.
Okay.
If those are my choices.
So for all of these, it's basically like a choose your own adventure where like you can also kick down a third door that's not there and just answer however you want.
I mean, if I were answering now, my answer is probably whiskey, but I've definitely had quite a lot of Corona in my day. So I think Corona.
Okay.
I think that works.
We're pulling a job. We have half the team in the field, half the team back at HQ. Are you a racer or are you a designer? Are you out in the field pulling the job? Or are you back in HQ? Are you the man in the chair?
I'm probably in the chair.
Okay.
Okay.
On this job, we call you out. We say, Dan, Joe and I need to go to the other room. We need 10 minutes. We need 5. We need 3 minutes. We need you to sing a song, karaoke style. What song are you singing?
Distract the room. What song do you sing?
Interstate Love Song by Stone Temple Pilots.
Hell yeah.
Oh, good job.
It's the only thing I can think of that's in my register that I can sing when when I'm not completely drunk.
Perfect.
Okay. Very cool.
That's one of my favorite questions. We get like a huge swath of answers.
Yeah.
Anything you can imagine, somebody's named it.
Yeah.
Like
all over the place. Like if we have a mixtape, well, maybe we do a mixtape. Maybe we do like a Too Fast, Too Forever distraction song mixtape. It would have very little crossover. It would be like, what kind of like bipolar nonsense is this?
It's great though.
Bipolar is underselling it because like bipolar is like there's all like everything is covered.
Right.
We are successful. We stole $100 million. We split it 3 ways. You go to Monte Carlo. You go to Las Vegas. You go to Atlantic City when they reopen, of course. Safe to go. You go to the roulette table. Are you betting it all on red or are you betting it all on black?
Oh, and I have to bet the money.
In this scenario,
In this scenario?
yes.
Okay. Because my real answer would be I would put it in like a mutual fund and just, hide out for a little bit.
Shout out Nate Milton, who has all your, tax questions answered.
Yeah.
If I had to put this money down, I'm putting it on red.
Ooh, okay.
Because everyone knows the line. You always bet on black. So come on. Nobody's even seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. I know the line, but
you're figuring that based on like universal balance, like karma or whatever, that you're going to bet it on the other one because everybody else is like it's just like it's balance, it checks and balances. Like you're like you gotta even the scales a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I appreciate that. It's our next job. We need to get from here to there. I don't know. I've never introduced this question like this. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay,
would you rather jump a car out of a plane and the car has GPS guided parachutes, or would you rather have to drive a car into a plane as it's taking off on the world's longest runway? Into a car, out of a car, both ways. You're safe. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just which adrenaline rush do you want more?
I think I want the jumping out of the plane.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. Are you going to drive out or are you going to get Roman sucked out?
Oh, no, I'm driving out.
Very cool.
Oh.
You have to control it yourself. That's the only way you're prepared. If you're going to let yourself be sucked out, then you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very true.
It's way worse. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off, but like also backwards, and no, not for
And
me.
out of a plane.
Is the word oil one syllable or two?
Oil. Is it one syllable?
Okay.
Oil?
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm saying, I don't know.
I don't know.
This is the hardest question.
I was trying to hear how you said it, and I don't even know. If I just heard it from your mouth, I wouldn't know. I don't know.
Because I'm not saying oil. That would be
Oil.
two syllables.
Yeah, it's technically a diphthong, and I don't remember what that means, but I know it's a diphthong, so I think it means it's one, but whatever. I think it's two. That's why it's on here. Okay.
Yes.
Our other
Fair
newest
enough.
question. We are going out to dinner. We're like, Dan, we found this restaurant. It's wonderful. They got little red candles. They got wooden tables. They got food all over the place.
The one with the plantain.
More the plantain. They got food all over the place. What do you think we mean when we say there's food all over the place?
Oh, God. What does that mean? I think it means, like, I'm picturing a buffet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, the food's just out, and you can just grab whatever you want.
I mean, there's no right answer there. That's just a throwaway line in the first movie that we're like,
Right.
What does that mean?
Me, it's like Vince. What's the name of that place? Little Red Candle, the plantain, food all over the place.
Cha-cha-cha. Now, this next one, I feel like I don't stand a chance here because of where you live, unless
Oh,
maybe
yes.
this has turned you against it. Do you prefer In-N-Out or Whataburger?
I mean, I have to go in and out, but
Yeah.
I've never had Whataburger, so
Hey,
That's a
I-
fair. That's a fair.
I
assessment.
honestly can't. I can't. I mean, it might be better, but I've never had it.
Well, save yourself and don't eat it because it's fucking garbage.
I was sending to Joe that some girl went viral on Twitter today because actually she might be that's off the table, Joe. We're gonna do a BD Wappy of her too. But she just said, "I'm in Texas. Should I get Whataburger?" And it went viral for whatever reason. And I saw it because Jose Altuve of the Astros liked the tweet, and I was like, "Oh." She just like it's going down and like she's just doing updates and everything, and then she's like, "Yeah, it went viral." Like I don't know why that went viral, but I guess people are home and bored or whatever. But the Whataburger people stand Whataburger.
Yeah, I do know people who swear by it, and
Mhm.
they love
Are
Whataburger. I've just never had it, so I don't know.
I don't really have skin in the game here. I like it a
Mhm.
lot. I'm not a huge fan of In-N-Out, but
Yeah, I think people take the In-N-Out thing a little. It's a little like it's not. It's fine. It's
Thank
not
you.
like
Thank
the
you.
best burger ever, but
Thank you.
It's not the best burger ever, but in its price range,
Yeah.
it's an excellent burger.
I just think if you're going to LA for a burger, throw a couple extra bucks at it. Go to the counter. Go to the Apple Pan. Go to like a real burger place.
That's
Oh, I do
that's
like
fair,
Apple
but I'm
Pan.
saying you
Apple
have to
Pan's
keep
cool.
it in scale.
I get it. I know. I'm just saying if you're going to LA for a burger, don't go there for In-N-Out. Anyway, whew. Gonna litigate that one until the end of time. Dan, would you rather die in a fiery explosion or drown in icy water?
That's such a good question. I think a fiery explosion.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm hoping that it is shorter. Drowning in icy water, you're going to feel that for, even if it's like a minute. But if the explosion is right, if they do it right, then you explode and, you're in pain for a second and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Revenge of the Nerds or The Dark Knight?
I don't know how to. That's a weird Dark Knight. I guess my brain can't put those two in the same box.
At the end of 8, when I guess now Tej isn't even hitting on her, but when Roman is hitting on Ramsey, he's like, "Do you want me, like the Dark Knight, or do you want Tej? You want Revenge of the Nerds?"
I forgot about that.
That's why I like asking with no context, because then it's like
Right.
when you know the context, you're like, "Am I picking Roman or picking Tej?" It's like
Right,
without that,
right.
it's just like, what does that question even mean?
No, it's got to be Dark Knight. Also, Revenge of the Nerds has become problematic.
True.
That might be the second movie, but still, I don't know that we need to revisit that
Hey man,
as a
it's a
culture.
different time. It's a different time.
Very much so.
I'm very proud that all of our guests are like, yeah, Revenge of the Nerds has a lot of problems, doesn't it? Like every one of you guys is like, yeah.
All right, and the last question for now before we kick off the conversation about the movie: do you have a favorite character in the franchise?
I mean, it's Han.
Okay.
It has to be
Yeah,
Han.
Yeah.
that's a good choice.
Yeah. Even if everybody doesn't say it, I think that's everybody's favorite. Like that's everybody's answer, even if that's not the answer that they give. If that makes sense.
Yeah, true.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
He's so cool. You can't not love Han.
After I saw Tokyo Drift, even though I do not look like Han, I did wish I looked like Han.
Oh yeah.
So.
We all do.
It's the same kind of thing where like it's not exactly the same, but like after I saw Drive, I was like, oh, I kind of wish that I was in better shape so I could wear that jacket. There's an emblem of cool on screen, and I want to wear that. Although we've talked about that jacket a whole lot of times, and like I'm glad that I never bought that jacket because I should not be wearing that jacket.
You're still lusting after this fucking Drive jacket,
I
aren't
will
you?
never not lust after it until I can pulled it off, and then at that point, I'm like, I don't need that jacket.
You just gotta wait. You gotta do like the full, what's his stuntman Mike, and you gotta like wait until you're like 60
And
then
just pull an
get
icy
one.
hot jacket?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, now to kick off the conversation, we got 3 questions. You can answer 1, 2, or 3, however you want to do it. Do you have a favorite car movie? Because this lap, we are theming it kicking it old school. We're watching in our off weeks and our bonus episodes. We're watching mostly classic car movies. So do you have a favorite car movie that's not in this franchise? That's question number 1. Do you have a Barbie dream car? Like, what's the car that you want? If money was no object, what car would you want? Or do you have a favorite car or favorite car stunt in Tokyo Drift?
Well, I'm not going to answer the dream car one because I'm boring and don't really have a dream car. Like,
no, I don't either. It's all good.
I'm just like, it just needs to work. That's fine. Favorite car movie outside of this franchise?
Are you like a car guy in general or not really?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I've seen Bullet many, many times.
Yeah.
So that's probably... Oh, you know, actually, it's not a car movie explicitly, but Ronin, the 98 movie, like that, the car sequences in that movie are really intense.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet, but we are, spoiler for the listeners, we're covering that this lap in a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie in kind of and I don't know how I found it because I ended up getting it on DVD somehow without ever seeing the movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think I bought it because Robert De Niro was on the cover.
Gotcha.
And it was like,
Makes
it's
sense.
a $20 movie. Sure, why not? And then I saw it and loved it. As far as in Tokyo Drift, my favorite car stunt,
Or car.
I can't really say which car I like because
you're right there with me. Don't worry about it. Don't feel you're
Whose
right
car
at
is
home.
it? Do you have a car in your brain?
I honestly don't know enough about cars to like. I would pick Hans because it looks cool.
Yeah,
but I know I like out of the driving sequences are great, but the absurdity of when he gets the number from the girls.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense. Like why it happens, how it happens within the middle of the city that like, oh, there are no cars for 30 seconds. And like, but you can see the lights going and other cars in the background. But I just love the absurdity of that and the way it's shot. It's like a dance. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
One of our, we watched this.
I was just about to say that.
This
Yep.
time, and we watched it with all of our fans, right?
Mhm.
People that like listen to the show. So we had a family watch party, and somebody said that Han says earlier in the movie, like, you know, you only drift to like show you're better than the other guy. The only reason why you should drift to Sean is to, like, prove something.
Oh, you have to prove that you're faster. He's like, what's the point?
And then Han drifts around the girls to get their number, and that's the only time he drifts in the movie.
Right.
He's like, yeah, it has to really mean something. And he's like, getting numbers means something.
He does the drifting around the car, right? And then he just parks, and then he just stares at them until, like, he's like Jedi mind tricking them into like giving him their number.
Right.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Because it's not like they're writing it down as he's drifting. It's like, hey, what now? And they're like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess.
And also I don't know if it's just the way it's cut, but it looks like it's the passenger who's writing down her number. So I don't know if they both wrote down their number or if it's just her, even though it's the driver who hands it over to her.
Oh, yeah, you're
to
right.
Han. It's very, I'm assuming that they both wrote down their number because, you know, after that display, why would you not?
Right.
Or just like one, like, hey, I'm the passenger, call me, she's driving. Like, I'll answer the phone immediately. They just wanted the most free-handed one.
Although we
Right.
also said that like Han probably just throws those numbers out, like, because again, he's just doing it just like he doesn't. I feel like after in a post Giselle world, like, no offense to these ladies, but like who could possibly compare?
Oh no, this is just that he can, not that he ever calls them.
If these girls had a really cool car and Han runs into them, even in Tokyo, I'm sure that they already knew who Han was. Like, if they're like
Probably.
in like tuner culture, they
Yeah.
seem like they were like party girls. Like, you would have to know exactly who Han is already. So maybe he
Right.
was just lying and pretending with his friends to make Sean feel not cool.
Look at how cool I am.
It's just a giant plot. Like, he's known them forever. He went to grade school with them.
Man, oh man. So now, Dan, you said this is your 5th favorite movie in the franchise, but you said,
Yes.
I think you said it's the most important. So I want to know what about this movie? Because I think, if I remember right, when I reached out to you, this is the one that you wanted to talk about the most.
Mhm.
What about this movie strikes you? Like, what did you want to talk about? Like, what's your reason behind the thought that like this is the most important?
Just personally, it's the most important to me. It's one of the first movies where I feel like, again, I talked about I was more of an asshole when I was younger about film specifically. I feel like when I saw this movie and started to appreciate it, it was kind of like that film school mindset of like, oh no, film has to be like art and important and dark and, you know, never any fun. I feel like that mindset was kind of like a fever breaking, and this movie was one of the it was almost like the medicine that I got.
Oh, that's awesome.
That broke that fever.
So cool.
The other part of it is that I remember, so going back to the Justin Lin part of it and how I didn't like Better Luck Tomorrow, and there's one particular reason why I hated that movie, and it was because you guys haven't seen it, right?
Right.
No.
Or there's a shot in that movie that where he's like spinning the camera, and when I saw it in that movie, I was so upset because I was like, this is pretentious and like absurd, and you're using it, you're like moving your camera in this distracting way in this movie that like the movie otherwise is, you know, what I thought I wanted back then, which is like, you know, mostly dark and kind of like edgy and, you know, important film. But he does this shot where the camera's spinning around, and I'm like, you're just showing off that you can do this shot. And I'm so like, now I'm taken out of this movie.
Right.
Cut to several years later when I see Tokyo Drift, and I see him using that camera in this movie all over the place. And I was like, oh, you're an action director. Like, that's what this is. Like, that's what it is.
You were just practicing.
Right.
God
Because using that camera and that style in this movie and then all through these other movies and even up through, you know, the other movies and shows he's done today.
Yeah.
It's incredible how fun it makes it, how much movement and energy it brings to scenes that should not be interesting or that should just feel kind of boring. Like in this movie, the first one that really when I was rewatching, the first part that really like reminded me of this was when Sean gets to the first drift race and DK like turns back to face him, then like the camera spins around him, and it comes around into a shot of the two of them. That moment could be, you know, normally you just have the person stop and turn around and you'd cut back and forth, but in doing it that way, I was like, oh, this is like a fun. He just made like even little moments like that fun. And then of course when he starts shooting action, then it just feels great. So yeah, I feel like I learned a lot about not only Justin Lin but about filmmaking and visual storytelling, and I came to appreciate it in a way that I didn't before.
And I think it fits the aesthetic of this movie, like the kinetic nature, both of just Tokyo in general, and like everything about this movie is meant in a good way to feel like chaotic, like the constant needle drops and like just sights and sounds all over the place, and just the speed of it all. And like even when he slows it down, like when we were watching on Sunday and we were talking about like that one kind of De Palma shot where it's like the tracking shot, like the Goodfellas shot as they're following, as Sean is following Twinkie into the party, right? It's just like there's that long, like even that feels like flourishy and stylistic, and like everything he's doing is working. But I guess it's the kind of thing where if you're in the wrong mindset, if you want that gritty, edgy, dark thing, you're like, well, why is he doing this? But like if you're into the rhythm, the vibe of what he's bringing, it all works together and it gels really well.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
I feel like at some point all of us were some kind of film snob, right?
Yeah.
It's cool that like Fast and the Furious, we've heard from like a lot of people, now you included, no matter what, like when you get to the bare bones of this, you're like, these are just fun, man. And like you can't hate on them because they're so much fun. So you know, you'll be watching it and you'll be like, oh, maybe like I didn't like this, or like why did he do this shot or something. But at the end of the day, like it's just an enjoyable movie, right? Like they're just made for your enjoyment, and it's cool to remind yourself now that we have all these other movies that are like, you know, you have blockbusters that are trying to make a ton of money, and you have like all these art films and stuff like that. You just have Fast and Furious, and they're like, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make a movie that's fun for everyone. Yeah. And that's hard. That's really hard in its own way.
Now, here's a very important question. We have a debate, and I honestly, I can't remember. We talked about this on Sunday too, and I can't remember which side of the debate I'm on. But in the beginning of the movie, I'm on the wrong side. Okay, that's fine. But so Sean in America races, and he gets in a car accident, and they're like, you're going to Japan, right? And he shows up to his dad's house, and his dad's like, oh shit, Sean.
Remember, his mom goes, is it illegal to smoke in the police station?
You're
I'm not doing anything, I'm just giving all the facts.
Hearsay. That's not
facts. They're presented as evidence. Like it's in the film.
Yeah, but it's also irrelevant. Relevance. Objection. Relevance.
It's character.
Okay, fine. Overruled. The objection's overruled. Okay. Anyway, Sean shows up in Japan, knocks on his dad's door. He's like, "Hold on a second," and he closes the door.
Oh, I thought he says it's you're supposed to be here the 7th, and Sean says it is the 7th.
Yes. I've given up this battle, so I don't remember. Like, I think I have like PTSD. Like, I blacked this out. So anyway, the point of this is that he closes the door, opens the door back up, lets a prostitute out, lets Sean in. Somebody made a mistake. Either his dad, who is, by the way, a lifelong military man, or his mom, who's a mess and who's just like flirting with a cop. Who made the mistake?
Oh wow!
And I genuinely don't remember which side of the argument I came down
You're
on.
on the wrong side because you're on my side now.
I don't know if this is what's actually being presented, but my assumption is that the intent is that it's the dad made the mistake because he's absent and he hasn't been in his life for who knows how long. Or I guess Sean says on the drift date when his dad left. So he hasn't been in his life. He's kind of like he's not present as a father, and I have thoughts on that too. If we want to get into that,
Yeah. Definitely.
like it's kind of like he's been partying, right? He thought the 7th meant he's leaving America on the 7th, which means he'd arrive on the 8th, which also may not work depending on how far he had to fly, because we don't actually know where he's flying from. They never say.
Arizona.
I know it's Arizona, but they never say that, which I thought was really weird. So I guess I think it's the dad.
Was that my original idea, Joe? I don't remember where I fell on this.
This was your original idea. And my argument always was his father is a lifelong Navy vet, right? Like, he's been in the Navy. If anyone knows time, it's him. We've established that the mother is really absent-minded, trying to smoke in the police station, flirts with a cop. She's been through this before, moves states, doesn't really take care of Sean too well either. It was probably her giving the wrong date. No, this is supported because the fact, why would you get a hooker the day after your son doesn't arrive?
Because, okay, yes, now I remember the argument. Because, like, your son doesn't show up, you're at the airport, you wait and wait and wait, he's not there, and then you're like, well, I guess he's not coming, I guess the mom messed up again.
That's why I think that it's his fault, because he says, I thought you were supposed to come on the 7th, and then Sean says it is the 7th, which means in the dad's mind, he thinks that if he thinks he was supposed to leave America on the 7th, and he's arriving on the 8th. So this is his last hooker before Sean arrives.
Yeah, but you would have got it the night before, right? So he would.
Right,
so
but he thinks this is the night before. No, he thinks this is the night before because he thinks.
So then it's the mom's fault.
No, it's the dad's fault, because the dad interpreted the 7th as being you're leaving America on the 7th, arriving in Japan on the 8th. Which is an absurd assumption to make.
He was supposed to they communicated to him the 7th. They just said Sean is arriving on the 7th or whatever, leaving on the 7th or whatever, right? But he thought Sean was getting there. He thought
he was getting there on the 8th.
I think the movie posits it as is the dad's fault, right? Because he's like, it is the 7th.
That's their intention. But at the same time, that's not how it plays out. Because Japan's a day ahead. Then Sean would have said it would have been like, it's the 8th.
No, but it is the 7th because he arrives on the 7th as he was told.
Yeah, but that means the mom didn't communicate that he was going to arrive to Japan on the 7th. See? He's like, Sean, your mom told me you were going to be here on the 7th.
I mean, look, his mom might have had sex with the cop. So I feel like she's doing her best.
Okay.
She did, right?
The mom's had it rough, and she's just doing her best, man. That's all. And this kid, like, they're moving. He keeps getting into trouble. He keeps racing. He keeps getting into fights. He keeps picking on the rich kids. Like, she's at the end of her wits. Like, even if she messed up, it's not her fault, man. Because Sean it's
such a
awful.
little fuck.
Yeah. How about this new theory? It's Sean's fault.
It is Sean's fault.
Oh, it's definitely Sean's fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is also like we're also taking Sean at his word that it's the 7th, but like Sean doesn't know. Sean's a dumb kid.
He's a stupid kid. Well, he's a stupid 24-year-old, but yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oof. Now, Dan, another very important question for you about this. How do you feel about Chrissy Teigen being the new star of this movie? Did you hear about that?
I did just hear about this.
What time?
I don't know. Did you guys tweet it?
We tweeted about it, yes.
I'm assuming that's where I heard about it initially. I did not realize that Chrissy Teigen was in this movie, but apparently she is.
There's more of that action camera, that swooping action camera to like cut off right before we see her face.
There's only so much you can get in. It's a lot of hard choices, leaving stuff on the cutting room floor. You know?
Yeah, this is, you got to keep the movie a tight like hour 39. You can't show the extra like 8 frames to show the bottom of her face. You got to cut it off right at the boobs.
Right.
It's not like Chrissy Teigen is unattractive, right? Like if you'd have cut up to her face, you'd have been like, yeah, but he's like, she doesn't.
Right. No, she's beautiful.
Enough.
She's a model for a reason. Collectively, I think we've established, at least on the show, that DK is one of the coolest and best villains in the franchise. And the franchise has, and I think it also goes hand in hand with sort of the scale and the size and the scope problem here, but like of all the 8 or 9 or whatever villains in the franchise, where do you think DK falls? Is he one of your favorites? Do you buy his intentions? Like, for as much as we love these movies, I think the villains are sometimes hit or miss, but I think we both really like DK. But how do you feel about DK? Do you think he's a good villain? Lower stakes, of course, but like in terms of the movie, where do you think he falls in the all-time greats?
I like DK a lot. This is going to sound silly, but I kind of get his like emotion in this. Like he's so upset, and like when he's mad, like every time he's mad, even when he's clearly being the bad guy or being possessive of Neela or, you know, whatever, like he has a reason. Like he has a good reason for why he's upset, why he, you know, is mad at Han, why he's scared of his uncle. Maybe in the beginning, just he's kind of picking on Sean because he's the foreigner. But after that, it's like he always has like a real emotional reason behind why he's doing what he's doing, even if he's making a bad choice or being a bad guy. I kind of like that, and I kind of appreciate that about it and about the way that he's portrayed. As far as like villains in the entire show,
yeah, I guess it's like how they fit in the movie, because like you can't really compare him to Cypher, because Cypher is trying to blow up the world essentially, and he's just like, you know, I'm king of this one drifting, you know, like I'm just whatever, right? But
I mean, I don't know. I definitely enjoy. He's not just like mustache twirling evil.
Yeah, he also is just kind of cool, like in a different light, like because we're following this movie from Sean's perspective, but like if we're not following from his perspective, he's just like this, you know, cocky white outsider, right? The guy Jin, like who just comes in and just like, oh no, like we shouldn't be rooting for him. It's just because we're in his shoes that we're like, oh, this guy's the bad guy. But like in any other world, like he's just kind of he's like the quarterback of the football team, kind of.
If you think about it from DK's perspective, his underage, but you know, I guess family friends, I guess it's okay, girlfriend is being stolen from him. His best friend is like stealing from him, and now he's in trouble with his mob boss uncle. That's a lot of stress for like DK is being just put upon in this entire movie. I don't know, maybe DK's the hero. I don't know. I didn't think about that until now.
He totals his car at the end. He almost dies, and then people cheered that he loses. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what?
And now he has to leave town. Like his uncle's gonna make him leave town.
Yeah,
exactly.
And his uncle's like, you're done, and Sean takes reins of like his whole empire in one race.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over.
I think we have a hero problem. I think we're following the wrong person in this movie. Like we should absolutely be following DK.
Yeah.
Sean is definitely a villain. Han's a good guy, but like if we're to believe that Han is a great hero, don't you think that DK is also part of the hero team, right?
Like the Batman and Robin of Tokyo?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Han says in his very poignant speech to Sean about like the people you keep around you, that like says who you are. So, but you're hanging out with DK, so that means that there must be something good about him, right? Or are you a bad guy and we're on the wrong side?
Well, I think that's the inherent conflict in all these movies, right? Like, are you the good guy pretending you're a bad guy every day? Like that whole thing. Like all these people that we're rooting for are villains. Like they're all criminals. Like we're following a group of people who are stealing from trucks. Like they're just jacking trucks. They steal $100 million. Like I know that they're stealing from a criminal in 5, but they steal $100 million. Like, you know, Dom breaks bad and tries to help. Like I know he's doing it for his family, but like they're committing crime after crime after crime. And we're like, yeah, family. It's like, well, no, like they're not good people.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do like DK as a villain. And I did not think I was going to come here and say that maybe DK is the hero, but that's where we are apparently.
The DK redemption tour begins tonight.
This is the kind of shit you talk about when you've watched these movies.
Justice for DK, man.
Over and I want DK back. DK's not dead.
No, we need justice for DK.
Justice for DK.
If you can let Jason Statham join the family, then DK can join the family. I mean, come on. Please. He didn't kill anybody.
Or at least just continue to be an underling under someone else. Maybe he's like Cypher's like coffee boy or something. Who the fuck knows? He got exiled from Japan.
Yeah.
Like, he could be anywhere.
I actually do wonder which of the villains in these movies we could retrofit to be good. Like Johnny Tran is no better or worse than Dom. He's just not the one that we're following, right? Like he's a criminal and he's like the leader of a gang family, whatever, just like Dom.
I would have to guess that Johnny Tran has a family at this point. If we go back, like Johnny Tran and like Brian's kids are in the same school in California or something, right?
Well,
like,
the franchise, I think what we read online is that he's dead. Like people think he got shot and killed. Like we don't see a body again, right? So he might not be dead. But I think the universe
doesn't he get killed? No, I think he gets shot.
Well, we know that Lance dies. I think that he's probably like we didn't see a body. Is all my that's my only point.
And it doesn't even matter if we see a body anymore because what the fuck does that matter?
Right.
Carter Verone is a drug lord. I don't think we can really rationalize that other than like unless we want to be like the Breaking Bad, like Heisenberg's the hero, but like that show is basically like no, he's not. Like stop it.
Yeah.
Right.
Braga is just
And we already poached Giselle, so we
poached
know that
Giselle.
she's-
Yeah, Braga doesn't. He's not redemptive. He's just an egotistical asshole, right?
Yeah, and he's in jail.
Right.
And remember, he comes back in 6 or whatever. So
Reyes in 5 is again a drug lord, egomaniacal. Like it's basically just like they're just tackling people with egos bigger than theirs, right? Like, they're not inherently terrible. They're also not great. 6, it's again we're following. It's the whole Owen Shaw is basically just Dom through another lens. Like it's literally the same family, right? It's the blonde for blonde and all these different stuff, right? So Deckard is just defending his family. Cypher she thinks that she's doing things to help the world. Brixton kind of thinks he's doing things to help the world. Like, I think we have a misunderstood villains problem. I think we're the villains. We're looking in the mirror and we're the bad guys.
Is that the ending? By the time they get to 10, then it's like they realize, oh no, we've been the bad guys the whole time.
It's like one of those like bad horror movie twists where it's like we go back and like there's never been villains all along. It's just always been them. Like, and they're the one with like God's eye trying to like hunt down like innocent people and like
it's been 10 movies of Fight Club, and they're just projecting villains everywhere while they take over the world.
And then they splice in single frames of pornography in Fast and Furious 10, chasing off every poor family that were like, yeah, you can see this movie. Yeah, wow, man, wow.
What a revelation. Jeez.
What else about this movie do you want to talk about? Because we've talked about this again. This is now our 6th time. So by all means, lead the conversation.
I have so much.
Okay, please
Go
go.
ahead, please.
Can we go through kind of like, so I have a list
Whatever you
of
want, brother.
things,
It's
just
your
from
floor.
like the beginning on. One thing that I noted watching this movie again, I loved it. I did not care, but I had so many questions where I was like, why is this the way it is?
Sure.
To start, the high school that he's in, I don't understand this high school.
Which high school? The Japanese high school or the American high school?
Well, even the American high school, because
both don't make any sense.
They're clearly rich kids, but then also there's metal detectors, so I guess it's dangerous. Even though we know it's Arizona, they never really say it. Why does he have McDonald's for lunch? That doesn't make is there and he has it on a tray, so it's like, is there a McDonald's on campus?
Yeah,
I was confused
Brian
by
brought
that.
this up too. We were like, but apparently, like, there's some schools they do have a McDonald's in the school. That was like a thing at some point. Yeah,
I did not know that.
We learned that because Brian of High School Slumber Party, patron Brian Rodriguez, he was like, we were talking about it because he studies a lot of high school films, and there is high schools that do have like brand name.
Like food courty kind of things.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
In their schools. So yeah, it's apparently not as. I mean, I didn't go to school like that. But.
No, and like even I'm so low on that food chain of food, I guess, that like even the idea of leaving campus to get lunch in high school seems alien to me. Like we weren't even allowed to do that even as a senior. It's like, no, you have to eat here. And like, so yeah, to have McDonald's in your school is like, what?
Yeah.
So there's probably not much around, right?
Right.
I think you're being very cruel to Arizona right now.
I mean, it's a fucking desert, dude. I love Arizona, but at the same time,
they're right next to Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Other things that I really loved this is all just before he gets to Japan. Zachary Ty Bryant, who is clearly the captain of the football team, throws a baseball through his rear windshield.
Yeah.
Which again, you can't throw footballs, I guess, unless his arm was that good, and that would have been amazing.
He's all American. They're just trying to show you he's the all American boy. He's the quarterback. Right. He's a pitcher. He's everything.
I just thought it was funny that he's wearing his football jersey and he throws a baseball.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He doesn't care about anybody, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so when they get to Japan, I love that Sean's dad lays down the rules. You just go to school, you come home, and no cars.
No cars.
And he breaks the rules immediately on day one.
Yep.
Which is great.
Do you love the scene we were talking about when we were watching this time? He comes in and it's such the normal parent-child dynamic of like were you smoking weed? But instead it's like, were you around cars? And we're like, what does he do? Like smell like exhaust? Like how did you find that out? Like there's cars, you're in a fucking city. Like there's always cars.
It's 100% the scene where it's, have you been drinking? Let me smell your breath. Except it's, have you been driving? Or whatever.
Like, what the fuck is he doing?
One other thing that I loved. So Sean is like this fish out of water. He, between, the actor's accent and kind of how they set him up, he's supposed to be kind of like this American, maybe from the South.
Alabama boy. Bama boy.
Yeah. If you watch him whenever he's eating, he's real good with chopsticks. Like he's the first scene, he's holding those chopsticks like a pro. This is just the dumb kind of stuff that I like to pay attention to. But when he's on the date with Neela, she is not. Like she clearly does not know how to use chopsticks, and he looks like he's lived in Japan using chopsticks.
And he's probably never had any Asian food. Well, actually, maybe we don't know where he moved from, right?
Take out Chinese.
Right, we don't know. They're at least setting it up in this way of like, oh, look at how strange and foreign Japan is. You know, even the food, it's like it's supposed to look exotic and weird, and then Twink comes in and says, "Don't ask, don't tell," because we're gonna make that joke because it's 2006. but you know, so it feels like he's being set up to think that this is all strange and foreign to him, but he seemed totally fine with chopsticks, which I thought was great.
It's set up to be fish out of water, but he's very clearly like at home in his little pond.
That made me wonder if I was making assumptions about him based on what I was projecting. And,
for sure.
I'm just assuming that he's this hayseed who doesn't know anything.
I mean, when you hear him speak, like, how could you not? No offense. Right. But just like the way that he's affecting a stereotypical Southern accent. I know that everybody doesn't speak like that, but he's just like, he's putting himself on to be like this, you know, Bama
He
boy.
even makes jokes about it, like, I didn't even have to put ketchup on it or nothing. Like, you know, like he's playing into it. So like he even knows, as a character, he even knows that like this is what he's doing.
There's other little stuff that I just thought was silly. Okay, so this is kind of the biggest one, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it, and I'm sorry if you've talked about it to death, and you know it's not a.
No, go ahead, man.
Does he have to be in high school? Like that part of this movie never makes any sense.
Oh, we've never actually talked about that. I mean, we
talked
about this within the scope of being a high school movie, but never whether it needs to be.
The weird thing is that it adds a lot of strange logic problems to this movie. So like him being sent to Japan, I guess it helps because then he can't control.
I think he needs to be a minor. Yeah.
Right. So I guess that's kind of the main reason to do it. But then you get to Japan, he's thrown into this high school where they're only speaking Japanese and he doesn't know anything. So I don't know how he's expected to learn.
No, or do any work.
Or get there in the first place.
And then he's hanging out with Han, who in the original movie was probably supposed to be mid-20s, maybe late 20s, but like with all the retconning, who knows how old he's supposed to be now. And it's weird that he's like, he has this 17-year-old protege. There are other kind of like weird things. So like the driving age in Japan is 18. I mean, you know, they're breaking the law left and right anyway, so who cares? But technically he wouldn't have a license.
Oh, true.
It also makes me wonder, again, I love the drift date with him and Neela, and I love like the calm drifting that they're doing up the mountain, and she's telling these stories, but she's telling these stories like she's like in her 30s. Like in the old days, we would come up here when we were kids and we would just drift, and it was so different, and we just drive whatever we had. It's like you're 18 at the oldest. You're 18. So when were the old days?
I mean, I guess you know when you're dating a Yakuza crime boss's nephew, and like you've seen some shit.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm sure that DK didn't really have to follow any driving rules, right?
Right.
And he was a little bit older, so assuming he's like, you know, like we said, Han at this point is like early mid-20s. DK's probably around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he didn't have to follow the rules. But it's also very creepy that Neela was living in his house and probably, you know, significantly younger than him, and he was like also courting her. Seems very strange, but we don't address that too much. Very weird.
Yeah. So it just felt like the old days would have been maybe, even forgetting all the rules stuff aside, she would have been maybe like 14. So that's like 4 years ago. It's a long time ago when you're 18, but it's just the way it was written, and the fact that it's just like it sounds like someone reminiscing for their youth that they no longer have.
It's like the lady in Titanic. She's like, yeah, I remember that day.
Right. It had the same level of like emotion behind it, and I appreciated that, and I was on board.
I to your original question, I don't know if this does need to be set in high school, but I think that the whole point is that he can't be in control of his own destiny. He needs to be exiled to Japan to get there, and that's the only way we could have done that.
And the other side of that question for me was just the fact that because his dad lays down the law and then quickly becomes unimportant until they need his car at the end, or until he stops DK with his own gun.
Until he has the one other gun in Tokyo.
Right. Well, he's a Navy man, so you know, of course, he has his sidearm with him. It just kind of like went away, basically. Which, in ways, it made sense. Like you see Sean move out and go live at Han's garage. But yeah, it just made me wonder if he was just on the run for some reason and he was early 20s, like would it have been that different?
They needed the Southern boy dynamic, and I don't think that you could, like, if it would have been like, oh man, it's my last chance, gotta get out of Alabama, I'm gonna go to Tokyo. It would have been like, what the fuck was going on here? You know, I think that would have been more jarring than him being a 24-year-old in high school. But yeah, that's very, very interesting to think about. I'm going to rack my brain about this for a while.
Well, because like what's actually, what we've talked about before, and we talked about again on Sunday when we watched it, and like Joe mentioned, we got our friend Brian of High School Slumber Party. He always talks about, like, to the point now at the end of each episode where he talks about a high school movie, he gives out an award, the Cameron Fry Award, like which of these kids doesn't look like they're in high school. And it feels like that's a logic issue across all high school movies. It's like, we want to tell a high school story, but like we want to treat these kids, not only treat them like they're adults, but like give them adult experiences. Like, well, that's not, why are you trying to cover best of both worlds here? Like, it doesn't really make sense. And I feel like I don't think we've ever thought about it in this way for this movie, but you're right. Like, it's, again, everything would make more sense, but you just have to get him under the guidance of his father or just out of America. But like, how do you I don't know a better way to do that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not saying it would be more satisfying, but there's probably a version where it could be he has to go on the run and his buddy, kind of like, it can even parallel what happened to Han, where it's like his buddy says, hey, come to Japan, we'll take care of you. And then you have to get rid of the friend so that he can fall in with Han and DK and everything. I don't know, just as an excuse.
You're right. I like this theory. How about this? Han meets Sean on the side of the road in Arizona as like he's trying to escape America, right? And he's like heartbroken about Giselle. They like meet at a gas station. He's like, man, like where are you headed or something? Like his car's broken down. He's like, where are you headed? And he's like, I don't know, man. I need to get out of America. And he's like, oh, me too. Like, I was thinking about going to Japan. You want to join? And like that could have worked, right?
I mean, that works in terms of getting Sean there. That adds like 500 logic problems and like timeline errors with like Han's whole thing, because like he's established in Tokyo.
It could have been Earl or like somebody else that was Han's buddy, right?
Right.
Say he's 18 or whatever, or I don't know. I guess 18 doesn't really make things better here, but like say he's a little bit older and his mom's like, you have to get out. Like you can't live here anymore. Or like a girlfriend kicks him out or whatever. He's like, fine, I'm going to go somewhere. And he goes to an airport. That even feels like just like a weird kind of coincidence, right? Because at least in this movie, it's like, I can't handle you anymore. You're going with your father, who is where it's like, it's not really a choice, right? Like, it's just like you have to go with a one other place. It's not
also,
like.
It also changes the dynamic between him being there on punishment and him being there because he chose to be there.
But I guess also, like, if he goes to Tokyo, like, say he's 25, right? And he goes there by choice. Like, he's just like, I can't do it in America anymore. I need to go somewhere else, fresh start. It feels like going into high school gives him an easy in, narratively, storytelling-wise, to meet all these people. Like, it just feels like it'd be very kind of coincidental if he's just, like, he falls in with, like, this, drifting culture. Although maybe not, because he's into cars. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm talking myself into and out of all these ideas at the same time.
I like them, though. I really do. Wow. It's a weird thing to think about. Something I never thought about before, for sure.
What else you got? What other things about this movie that strike a chord, or you're confused about, or you love, or whatever?
I didn't remember they hit this so explicitly, but again, like rewatching the movie, I was like, oh, I love that they're doing this. How like explicitly they make this movie a Western or a martial arts movie. Like, I mean, to the point where they call him Cowboy, right? When he shows up and Han has his, like, he compares himself to a cowboy in the Old West running to Mexico. Not just in the dialogue and in the characters, but they also talk about it in the way that, not talk about it, but in the way it's shot. So, when Sean has his initial showdown at school with Zachary Ty Bryant, they do that classic Western shot where you're by his hand and he has the wrench. Right, they do that. When DK first races Sean and he spins the car around and he gives the classic like "come on" hand gesture, which is totally unnecessary, but is perfect because that happens in every martial arts movie. I'm gonna kick your ass, but come take your beating. And I love that. And again, it ties in with the rest of the movie because of how just the way it's structured. These races are all one-on-one, so they're all duels. They're all showdowns. And you even have like the literal training montage where he's learning how to drift. And then they get to the end of that montage and you have him beating Morimoto. I thought it was kind of nice the way that it's just kind of tacked in at the end, because we don't care about that guy.
No.
We just need him to show that you beat the sub boss and now you're on to the main boss.
Yeah, that's really cool. And with us watching all these classic car movies, that's a really interesting perspective, because we were talking, we've done Tarantino movies and movies that Tarantino talks about in his car movies. And it's very interesting that I've never really pieced together how much of, Western and martial arts films that Justin Lin has adapted for this movie. I was always like so hung up in the beauty of it and the drifting and stuff like that. That's really, really cool.
I love a good Western and a good martial arts movie or a
Yeah.
good samurai movie. So recognizing that it's kind of telling that kind of story, definitely up to the entertainment factor for me.
For sure. That's awesome. I now you got me wanting to rewatch it again in this lens. So
Well, that's the weird thing about us watching it in the watch party is that, like, we're not actually watching it. Like, we're kind of watching it, but we're more just like bullshitting over it. So, like, yeah, good thing we're gonna watch it again in what, like 3 months? Like, before too long, we're gonna be back there.
it's not like it's going away anytime soon. That's for sure.
I have a couple more random questions at the end. So we've gotten to the point now, Han's dead, or not dead, as it turns out, but we
Yes.
think he's dead. Sean's dad tells him he has to leave, and Sean says, I have to own my mistakes, and his dad flips immediately. Like, in 30 seconds, he's like, oh, no, you're right. You have to go talk to this mob boss, and hopefully he doesn't kill you. I don't know. I know it has to happen. I just think it's great. Like, his parenting is top-notch.
He's also a
Raise the
Navy
sign
man.
sign. Right.
He's a man of honor.
Right.
So.
When Twink offers Sean the money from his car, he says that it's something Han would have wanted him to have. But isn't that Twink's money?
I think that Han knew shit was breaking bad and had Twinkie stash it for him before the cops raided the garage.
Yeah.
I don't think that it was Twinkie's money. Maybe it was partially Twinkie's money because he's definitely making some money hustling. But also,
But not
as a
that much.
hustler, I don't think he's giving money away to Sean that he just met, too.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably true.
He gets pissed at Sean in this movie because the big confidence is like he's like, I can't now. I have to give everybody a refund, right? Like, because Sean thinks he's doing a good thing. Like, he's almost indirectly but directly like fucking up Twinkie's business.
True.
Right. I didn't think about that. And the last race, as much as I enjoy it, it makes no sense. Like, I don't know how, like, they're watching on their phones. It's being live streamed on their phones in 2006. Nobody has smartphones yet. And they're watching at like corners where there's nobody there. And then you cut back to Twinkie and everyone else and they're like cheering. They're like, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was funny. I mean, I don't care. Don't care about the logic of it. I just thought it was entertaining.
For sure. I was in Japan like really close to this time, and I always like think about this, especially when I was watching the movie. Actually, you know what? I watched the movie and then went there. But I always say to support that.
He got drunk and bought a ticket. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the story that I tell. The reason why I spent a summer in Japan is because I got drunk watching this movie and woke up and went to Japan. Like, that's what happened. So
that's amazing.
But when I got there, even my prepaid cell phone had like video chat on it. Like at that point. And this was like not long after the movie came out. So like that was never like a logical disconnect for me because like the technology, like especially with cell phones there, was so far advanced that this wasn't like something weird because like everybody had video chat and stuff. Like emojis were like a rampant thing there that like we had just got with the iPhone, like the first one. That part doesn't bother me too much. So I don't think that's, I mean, them all being on one video server watching it together cheering might not make sense, but I could definitely see them like, you know, calling their friend up the top and like, you know, sending them a video or something.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. That makes a little more sense now. But
yeah.
And then the last thing, this isn't actually about Tokyo Drift itself, but I like that they kept trying to retcon Han out in the subsequent movies. Because in 4, they make it sound like, oh, he's off to Tokyo. He's like, well, maybe I'll try Tokyo. And then he's back in 5. And then he basically looks at the camera and says, oh, we'll get there. Don't worry. And then finally in 6, 8. But like each movie, they're like trying to write him out. They're like, nope, not yet. Can't go to them.
We have this theory, and we say it a lot. I have this theory. We have this theory that all of the Fast and the Furious movies are pretty much like crowdsourced, right? In the sense that anything that the fans want, they will give you because they know that that's all we want, anyways. So when they made 3, and Han was the best part of it, and everybody was like, Han's the coolest fucking character ever. They had to bring him back in 4, and then everybody was like, that wasn't enough Han. We want more Han. So then they bring him back in 5 again, and then they're like, oh fuck, we have to like deal with this. And to the point where people are still clamoring for Han, so they're bringing him back in 9 again to bring him back. I think that if you started a big enough bitching movement on social media, we could pretty much convince Fast and the Furious to do whatever we wanted. Like, they're definitely listening to the fans. Like, I know that they are. So
that means that we have to start the campaign for DK.
DK, Giselle, we want him back. Bow Wow, I want him back too.
No niece Denise.
No niece Denise, we want her back.
We want her here in the first place.
I didn't realize until I saw the trailer for Fast 9, but I guess Earl is back. So
Yeah,
And
and
Sean
Sean.
back too. Yeah,
Oh yeah, but Sean was in 7
Sean was in 7
for like one scene, right?
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
the stitching together. Like, oh yeah, see, this is where we are on the timeline.
Andy was like 35 years old at that point, like very visibly balding, like which is supposed to be like what 2 weeks later or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
If that, it's just like, oh yeah, my buddy Han died. I'm going to get his body. It's like okay, yeah. Why do you look 7 years older? Okay,
Like you're still in high school, huh? All right.
yeah. All right, now Dan, are you ready to find out which Fast and Furious character you are?
I'm nervous, but yes.
Okay. So again, no wrong answers. We have 7 questions. Each question has 6 possibilities. So just whatever you feel most describes you.
go with your gut.
Yeah, either
Okay.
be true to yourself or the person that you want to present yourself to the world, whatever you want. There's 20 different possibilities. We're going to let you know who you are when all is said and done. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1, how fast are you? NASCAR, roller coaster, Lamborghini Murcielago, Toyota Prius, Vespa, or Razor scooter?
I'm not. I think I want to be as realistic as possible. So
Okay.
I'm probably a Prius.
Okay. Question number 2, you know it's coming. How furious are you? The Hulk, Kylo Ren, Christian Bale on that one movie set that one time, Mel Gibson, Charlie Brown, or Jack McBrayer?
I think.
I mean, you don't seem too furious, but also this question
I'm
has
not.
surprised us more than any other question in this entire quiz. Like
We've
people
had
just
some
like
people rage.
people are like, "Oh no, I'm the Hulk." I'm like, when? Like
Right.
either people that we really know or people we just meet. We're just like, you don't show any signs of that.
Right. So the Christian Bale answer appeals to me only in like an isolated incident where I'm, frustrated with work, then like that's kind of the one time I would
Perfect.
blow up. So yeah, let's go with that one.
Okay,
That works for me. Yeah.
Dan, we're having a barbecue. How are you helping? Are you manning the grill, saying grace, kicking back with a beer, babysitting, being the entertainment, or sneaking a snack?
I would like to think I am on the grill, but I'm probably sneaking a snack.
Okay, fair
Okay.
enough. You know you got to say grace. You've got time to kill. What are you doing? Grabbing a bite, working on your car, hanging with friends, drinking a beer, working out, or working on your computer?
Working on my computer.
Yeah.
Describe your wedding. I'm never getting married. It's just me and my partner. It's us and our families. It's a backyard country affair. Everyone I know is there. I don't remember.
I love those answers. I guess I'm never getting married.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, that's the closest answer I can give.
Okay.
Perfect.
Dan, congratulations. You just won the lottery. What are you buying? Your own garage, a private plane. I'm gambling it all away. My childhood home, a fleet of cars, or a new life.
Oh. And there's no invest in.
No,
in-
still
in
no fiscally
401k.
responsible
No
option.
mutual funds.
Man.
Yeah.
I just really would like to invest in some passively managed mutual funds. Maybe something from Vanguard. I think I think buying my childhood home. That's the
Okay.
closest.
Last question. This could decide it all right now. What is your drink of choice? Whiskey, not an option, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. Belgian ale, Corona, something fruity, water, whatever's cheapest, or just whatever you're having.
Whatever you're having.
Okay.
I have no idea, dude.
He-
We got
he-
some new ones.
He
We
went
got
back and forth a few times.
teetered. Yeah.
He is actually one of our more common answers. It's only a 7.64% chance, but you are Mr. Nobody. You're Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. I thought it was going to be Dom with the childhood home.
That gave him points, but the second option, you were almost, until that very, very last question, you were almost Roman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh,
here is
okay.
the Mr. Nobody description. Let's see if this fits you. I mean,
Okay.
you know this better than anybody if this is true of you, okay? People see you as a bit of a mystery, and you love it. You've got more going on than anyone realizes, but your greatest joy comes from executing a plan perfectly and leaving everyone around you wondering how you pulled it off. You're great at keeping secrets, but you're always willing to help those who can help you. You don't have family, so to speak, because letting people too close might dissipate some of your mystical aura, so you'll settle for friends. And you drive like the wind,
Like the wind
blows.
blows. Oh, gives me chills.
Is that you or is that not you?
Honestly, that is way too close.
Really?
What is happening?
Oh.
What's happening is that we have watched this movie too many times, and we spent way too much time
On the
allotting
quiz.
points to make sure this
Wow.
was right.
Yeah, that's appropriate for me, I think.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that we were, again, like, it feels like our quiz success rate is, like, wild. Like, really, really successful.
Yeah, it is. People seem to, like, really, we don't get too much disagreement with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
pretty much nails it. It was, you know what it was? It was the I'm never getting married.
Yep.
That's what.
I'm never getting married in whatever you're having, because he's just kind of an agreeable, like, I think Belgian ale is a big one for him, but there's also just like, whatever you're having, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
A virgin pina colada. All right. We got 2 more games here. First up, this ain't no 10-second race, a.k.a. Boy Do We Have a Podcast for you. So, Dan, what I want you to do is I want you to go on twitter.com, and I want you to find any tweet from anyone, but find someone you think might like listening to the show.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to send a tweet from @TooFastTooForever, our Twitter account, and we're going to say, boy, do we have a podcast for you, hashtag 2F2F, hashtag 2FastTooForever, hashtag family, link to the show page. So the point of the game is to get these people to like the tweet, to retweet the tweet, to reply to the tweet, or to listen and email in. There's a whole scoring system. Bottom line, it is wildly difficult. So as you search for a tweet on Twitter, I am going to review last episode. So Joe, last time, our last guest was Brian High School Summer Party Rodriguez. And if you'll remember, he bullied us into getting 3 different
Yes, he did. That's
tweets
right.
because he's like, I just subscribed to your Patreon, which, by the way, 2FastTooForever.com, become a part of our Gallo 24.
Oh.
And he said, here's 3. And so we're like, okay, cool. I found the Chicken of Bristol at Immigrant Film. The real hashtag Justice for Han would be giving him a Better Luck Tomorrow sequel, in which his friendship with the FF crew is repeatedly peripherally mentioned, i.e. Dom appears in his phone contacts at Justin Lin. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Joe, you found Unmarked Cop Car at Car Unmarked. Everyone needs to take a class in high school. Quote, don't do stupid shit and you won't go to jail. Oh, you're 47 and drive a car that sounds like a supercharged weed eater because you watch too much Fast and Furious? Don't cuss the police when they pull you over and you won't go to jail. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. No, of course not. Of course not. Brian's first one, Peter Robinson at P. Robinson 1997. Just got done watching Fast and Furious 6, and I didn't know that Rita Ora was in it. Only a small part, but still pretty cool if you ask me. At Rita Ora, you did an awesome job. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. No.
Damn.
Brian's second one, he found Ty at _Tylo on Twitter. Beat up the pussy, then dust off my knuckle. No Fast and Furious car. I got the muscle. They said they killers like Chucky a chuckle. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing. And the last one, he found Daniela Flores at Daniela_Edith_. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw predicted the coronavirus. 3 emojis. The virus in the movie is to wipe out the unfit and weak in order to make better mechanical human. Mind blown emoji 4 times. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Joe, we went 0 for 5. It was a rough game. We were on a streak where like we almost could do no wrong, which is not how this game works.
Yeah.
And then we went a real solid 0 for 5 that time.
Yeah.
So
I got it this time. I got it this time. This is a fucking winner.
I've heard that before. It almost never is.
It's from Sleezo at Fen Yopo Jane. Phen Yopo Jane. DK and Tokyo Drift is so cool, dog. Boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all the tweet that we needed.
It's simple. It's to the point.
DK and Tokyo Drift is so cool, dog. He knows. That's it. That's points.
Maybe. Sleezo.
Let's
do it.
Sleezo, kick it back.
This one's I feel like this is kind of cheating because this guy clearly loves
There's no
these,
cheating in
but-
this game. Everything applies and nothing works. So you're fine.
Oh, okay. No, this is perfect.
So this is Patrick Mahomeless, which I also like the name. It's at
course,
PSGWZRD. Which movie is your favorite start to finish? And it's a poll. And it's The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, or Fast and Furious.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you. And right now, I voted as Too Fast, and I said The Fast and the Furious, the original one, because I think collectively we probably like that one the best.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, through 11 votes, 6 of them going to Tokyo Drift.
Jeez.
I just voted for Tokyo Drift to help that out.
In second place is the original. In third place is the fourth one, and none of 11 have voted for Too Fast, Too Furious.
Makes sense. You got one? That's a good sign.
Yes.
Go ahead. Read it.
It's
That's
not going
always
to
a good
work.
start.
It's from Suko at Suko Jones. It's a horrible injustice that another year has gone by where the precious gorilla that shaped our lives has rotted in jail. Today, let's celebrate his 25th birthday with great hope that we can prove his innocence once and for all. Hashtag justice for DK.
Oh my god.
And it's Donkey Kong shackled to a ball and chain. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. I'm going the opposite route. Like, I'm going the place where they're gonna be like, did you mean to send this to us?
So the whole premise, Dan, was that we wanted it to reply as if like a Twitter bot found them,
Right.
Right? 'Cause it's like a very like stock response.
Right. No,
So, like,
that's
a lot of
smart.
but like we pick like really fucking bizarre tweets, right? So like if you pick like this Donkey Kong, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck happened? Like, what is this
Yeah.
even searching for? Like, it doesn't make any sense." So
All right. Now, Dan, we've got one more game on the show. I also want to say that, like, if you search other Justice for DK, there are, like, actually very serious, heavy things. And I was like, ooh, I can't pick any of this. But the first one that comes up is just Donkey Kong, animated, like, N64 era, sort of blocky, but still kind of, like, rounded, and just chained to a ball and chain, and just dumb shit. So there we go.
that's right up our alley.
So we got one more game to play, Dan. It's called Dude, What's My Car? Like you, I'm not really a car guy. I don't really know much about cars. I don't really care about cars. So our listeners send in pictures of cars, and I try to describe them and get Joe to guess them. So do you want to help me give clues, or do you want to be on Joe's team and do you want to try to guess what car I'm describing?
There's no way I'm going to be able to guess. So my only
Totally fine.
chance to impact this is to give clues.
Cool.
Perfect.
This iteration of Dude, What's My Car comes from Jerry. This is one I tried to play last time. I had to get clarification. So it's his email I finally caught up. He says, I owe you a 10-second car, and here it is. See if Joe can guess. Have an awesome day, guys. So there's a clue he gives in there that I skipped over that we will come back to. It is an Italian car, and it is red. So we don't want to just give like slam dunk clues. We kind of give like either or, yes, no, 20 questions type answers, type clues. Joe can ask questions. Again, I don't know if this is going to be an easy car to guess. I don't know if it's going to be a difficult car to guess.
Yeah.
But it is red and it is Italian, so I'm sure you probably have a good sense of what make it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a very sleek, low-profile car.
Okay.
Suicide doors.
Okay. Those are Lambo doors, not suicide doors open both from the middle. The Kanye joke.
Well, there's only two doors, so I guess they're not suicide doors. What are doors that open to the sky?
Yeah, those are Lambo doors.
Okay.
You could put them on any car. I know, but they were commonly Lambo doors.
Okay.
Because suicide doors is when you have like a sedan and they both open from the middle out. So like
the front opens normally, but the
back opens the other way. That's suicide doors. Yeah.
But doesn't Kanye say put the suicide doors up?
Yeah, because he got it wrong. Like when he said Mekhi Phifer in the movie that he wasn't in. Remember that too? Find me dead and buried like Mekhi Phife.
I'm in too deep.
In Too Deep. Yeah, he says Mekhi Phifer is in Too Deep, and he's not.
Oh, but it's Omar Epps actually.
Yeah, but Kanye just like raps these things and just doesn't care. He, like,
AKA bootleg Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, exactly.
This car also has white and a little bit of black.
Okay. In the interior?
I can't really see the interior. Actually, Dan, so like one thing, I want you to sort of describe, like, I'm sure it's just a weird angle, but like where the door comes up, like the part of the car that's visible, like looks kind of shitty.
Does it have like gills?
No, I wouldn't describe it as gills. Are you talking about behind the door?
I'm talking about like underneath, like between the front and the back of the car.
Oh yeah, it looks, I don't know, worn somehow.
It looks worn or like unfinished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think it's a convertible.
Okay, hard top. Does it have a wing?
What does that mean?
Does it have like a wing on the back of it, like the
like
Brian's
a spoiler?
Eclipse? Yeah, like a spoiler.
It has like a mini one on the side.
On the side of it?
Well, on the back, on the back, all the way to a side.
I would assume it's balanced, but we can't see the other side of the.
We're sort of looking at like a three-quarter angle.
Okay. You're looking like straight on profile down the side.
The front kind of juts out a little bit, like it's got a little bit of a nose. The headlights are
flat. Is it flat in the front or rounded?
It's rounded, but it's not wildly rounded. I don't think. You mean like the hood, or like in the front?
The hood and the front.
The hood is slightly sloping down, and the front is kind of like it's kind of a semicircle in the front, I would say.
Okay. Is it of the 80s?
I don't know what year this is.
Okay.
There's a hint, but I want to give me 1 second. Dan, if you want to give a little bit more clues, the headlights are little. I can tell you that.
They're small.
Yeah, the headlights are real small. Almost like if it was like a Bond car, it looks almost like that's where like there'd be a machine gun would like jump out.
Oh. Like fog lights?
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know what fog light, like, I don't know what would differentiate a fog light or not.
The fog lights usually come along like the bottom lip of the car, like near the front.
Okay.
bumper.
Not necessarily, because these are more, they're set back, a little bit in the hood.
It is in one of the Fast and Furious movies,
Interesting.
and the one that's in the movie is from 2005. And it's a very similar color pattern. I don't know if it's actually it's not exactly the same color pattern, but it's similar. And if it helps, on the Internet Movie Car Database, the picture of the car also has a picture of a girl's ass in a bikini. Does that help you narrow it down? Because like that's only happened once or twice in the movie.
You said white and black, Lambo doors. It's an Italian car, red. It's a Ferrari. Yes. Is it an FXX?
It is an FXX.
Yeah, there's one of those in
Wow.
the movie.
In the beginning of 6, where Tej does the ATM scene.
Yeah.
And I'm going
That's a
to.
really
I
fucking
just
cool
forwarded
car.
you the email, so you can take a look at that. And I'm going to send you the
Please.
picture on Twitter. I'm going to send you both this. So this is funny.
So you know your cars.
No, not really. I mean, like I can narrow it down eventually.
Is the FXX a really famous car or no?
So Ferrari.
Well, you love Ferrari.
I love Ferrari. I went to the Ferrari factory when I was in Italy last time. So Ferrari had made early 2000s before this. They were like making this a supercar, right? You know, this was the hypercar, supercar kind of era. And the first one they made was the Enzo Ferrari, right? And this was like fucking top tier, 200, it was like the fastest Ferrari they ever made, whatever. So they made that.
But was it the most furious?
It probably was the most furious. And this was like an iconic Ferrari because they did like all the R&D to make the fastest Ferrari, right? And then to top it, the next car that came out was the FXX. And that was like the next level of it. They're both very, very cool. I don't know if I've ever seen an FXX in real life. I've seen at least one Enzo, if not two, that I can remember. But yeah, this is really cool. Where's he at? This looks like, okay, it's in an auto show. Wonder what the auto show was. Oh, you're right. And this wing thing, this like wing that's like only over the back fender, that's pretty cool. It's not like spanning across the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And the nose is very like Batmobile-y. Oh, you see this part the part that you were saying was shitty?
Yeah.
I think that's just a giant air duct, and I think that the air duct from the front pushes along the back and then comes out there.
Oh, okay.
To keep the car to the ground because it's so fast.
Gotcha. Can you click on the link that I sent you on Facebook and just see the picture that they chose to highlight this car on the Internet Movie Car Database?
Please, God, yes.
Because it's more prominent. Like it's a more prominent ass than it is a car.
I also like that there are these school children looking at this car for some reason.
This is the day that boy became a man right there. He's staring at the car. He's gonna turn left and just totally forget what this car was.
So there was that 5-year-old, right, who just got busted driving from Colorado to California to buy a Lambo. Like, that's this kid. Just like, hey, baby, this is my car. What's up?
That was a good one. Thanks, Jerry. That was cool.
Thanks,
I'm a huge
Jerry.
Ferrari fan. That was a good one. I like the FXX a lot. And you know what? The FXX, I think, is one of the Ferrari Lego models that Rachel's been toying about getting. But last night, she got like a mini set. Yeah, she did. She passed on the Ferrari set. And I think it was an FXX. I'll have to remember next time I go back to Walmart to check.
Cool. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. If people want to find you, where you write, where you hang out online, whatever you want to do, what do you want to plug? Where can people find you online?
Well, I write occasionally for Pajiba, pajiba.com, which your listeners have already heard of a couple times. I'm on Twitter mostly. It's at Dan Hamamura. It's DanHamamura.
Perfect.
Can I plug a separate podcast?
By all means.
So at Pajiba, we have a weekly TV podcast, which is very cleverly named Podjiba. So it's Podjiba. There's always a post on the site every week. It comes out on Wednesdays, and we just talk about TV and drink mostly. So it's me, myself, and a couple of the other Pajiba writers. It's fun. It's honestly at this point, it's just for us to have adult contact.
I am so glad. I'm looking now on Apple Podcasts at the podcast. I have not seen the last couple episodes of Westworld, so I'm not there yet, so I can't do this most recent one. But 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago, you said something that I talked about on this show, that I watched 3 episodes of Devs in a row and then 3 episodes of Westworld in a row, and I was like, it's the same thing. It's the same show.
Yeah. It's just one is doing it with a little bit more action, and one is, I don't know, slow and ponderous.
Yeah, I was saying to Joe, because I think Joe hadn't seen, he's not caught up on Westworld and he hasn't watched Devs, but I was just like, Devs is doing one thing, and this is one of the 1,000 things that Westworld is trying to do. But it's the same. Big data is scary, guys.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's
Wow.
weird. So I'm glad that you covered that because I was like, what is going on?
I don't know. It's fun. We just talk about whatever, but we have a good time.
Well,
hopefully.
we're very serious here, and I'm glad you stuck to the very rigid and strict program we had. Thank you.
I mean, I had to follow. You gave me very strict instructions. The email was lengthy. I'm glad that you can release my dog now anytime. And now that I followed your instructions, you can just send him home, and it's all cool.
Maybe. Well, Dan, thank you so much once again for joining us. So follow Dan on Twitter. We tagged him in the tweet right now. So if you want to follow him there, go check him out at Pajiba. Check out Pajiba. And then come back on Friday, Joe, because the next movie you and I are covering is one of your favorites. Harrison
that's
Ford
right. You kept
American
reminding
Graffiti.
me. American Graffiti. I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
But for all things Too Fast, Too Forever, you go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or at TooFastTooForever on Twitter and Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page at TooFastTooForever.com. Become one of our Gallo 24. Come back on Friday for American Graffiti. And also come back on Friday to find what we're going to be covering next week in our 2 episodes.
Ooh,
very
I don't even
special.
know.
Very special week. This is one of our themed weeks. We have 2 themed weeks this lap.
That still means nothing to me.
I don't want to give a hint because we've been saying the same. Okay, here's a letterbox game style hint for you, Joe.
Give me a hint that just me will get, but nobody else will. Be like the
no,
girl from
I
The
want to
Thing
do it. I
and
want to be like a little bit more vague about it, like a little bit more specific about it. But there's a certain movie quote from a movie that we covered this lap that we keep quoting seemingly every episode, and this movie would make the person who says that quote happy.
I got nothing. That was a good hint.
I will cut this part out.
Okay. Thank you. After Joey told me, now I remember what it was. Thank you.
Oh, boy. Okay. Anyway, family at cageclub.me, TooFastTooForever.com. Come back on Friday. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And that was Dan Hamamura, and we'll see you next time right here on Too Fast, Too Forever. Peace out.
Peace out.
You anus
piecers.